Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are Florida.
The calm before the storm in Miami and in South Florida. Welcome to what could be the fastest three-game series in baseball history. The Marlins and the Cincinnati Reds play Game 1 tonight. Tomorrow, let's play 2. We got details on that. The Reds are here for 1. Ricky tries to bounce back. Johnny Cueto has been hot and is always fun to watch. Dusty Baker and the Reds are in town, and it's been a while since the Marlins have seen them. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton. Welcome to a night of baseball and a quick three-game series. Tommy, tomorrow, doubleheader because of Irene arriving with some rain on Thursday. Doubleheader tomorrow. First game starts at 4.
Well, that's right. Pitching matchups will be okay with Javi Vasquez, Chris Volstad. Everybody unpacked on Monday. Hey, it's time to repack again.
Yeah, the club after the doubleheader tomorrow will head to Philly. Ironically, that's where Irene is headed. But that's for another night. Let's talk about the Reds. Marlins haven't seen the Reds in a while. They won 2 of 3 in Cincinnati.
Absolutely amazing, Rich. When the Marlins left Cincinnati, they were 17-9. I talked to Dusty Baker before the game. He thought at that time the Marlins were the best club that they'd seen.
Ricky Nolasco goes tonight. Johnny Cueto going for the Reds. With Ricky Nolasco, we've seen it. Every now and then he hits a bump in the road. He's hit 4 distinct bumps in the road this year, all against teams in the National League West. But, Tommy, you take those 4 starts out and look at the numbers.
4 awful speed bumps Ricky has run into, and I don't even want to tell you the numbers. You see them. If you eliminate those 4 starts, look at he's 9-5, and an amazing 2.65 ERA. Ricky Nolasco beat Cincinnati, pitched 7 good innings in Cincinnati against them this year. So he looks forward to a good start. He usually rebounds well after a poor start.
Now, it's always fun to watch Johnny Cueto throw, but now that he has the Louis Tion back turn, this should be even more fun.
Yeah, watch this. He was working on it in the bullpen. All of a sudden, things started to fall together for Johnny Cueto. It's his first outing this year against the Marlins. He leads the National League with that 1.89 ERA.
Oh, and one more thing. With 1 strikeout, Ricky Nolasco will set the franchise lead for career strikeouts. He'll beat Dontrelle Willis's record. Guess who's in the house tonight? How ironic is that? Dontrelle Willis in a Reds uniform. Ricky Nolasco trying to be the king of the hill and beat the Reds for the 2nd time this year. We've got Reds, we've got Marlins, we've got Jeff Conine and Craig Minervini. Gentlemen.
Hey, thank you very much, Rich, and welcome back, everybody, with Niner. I'm Craig Minervini. The matchup of this ball game is a real good one. You got righty Johnny Cueto against Ricky Nolasco. Cueto's really been coming on. Fourth season, Jeff, coming on to the tune of having the best ERA now in Major League Baseball. How'd he do it?
Well, you look at what he's done. He's got 19 starts to Ricky's 26. Got out the DL and started doing a little Louis Tiant move in his pitching rotation or in his pitching motion. And obviously you've seen it's paid off very well with a 1.89 ERA. Yeah,
he's got great stuff, 9-5. He's not a big guy. He's not even 6 foot. Ricky Nolasco, 27th start. His last start here, he moved by A.J. Burnett. That was on August 12th against the Giants. So he got by A.J. He's now tied with Dontrell Willis and with 1 strikeout. With Dontrell here, as Rich Wald said, he will become the new strikeout king.
Strikeout king of Miami. That'll be Ricky Nolasco. And, you know, all that says is that Ricky's done a very consistent, good job here in Miami. He's pitched here for a number of years. And when it's all said and done, he's got 2 years left on his contract. We're going to see him at the top of the leaderboard pretty much every pitching category.
Just in case you're wondering, Nolasco's pitched 881-plus innings, and Dontrell was 1,022 and change. I'm not sure you'd really even consider Dontrell when the first thing you think about probably isn't a strikeout pitcher, though he did tally a lot of strikeouts.
He did, and, you know, you don't realize that he was here that long and pitched that many innings as well.
So the franchise leader coming in over 1,000, and a fun guy. We'll have more on him on our Marlins Live 3:30 show tomorrow. We'll get Niners reflections as well on the D train. Great to see him back in town. But tonight our focus is game 1 of this very rapid 3-game series here at Sun Life Stadium. It's coming up next. It's the Reds and the Fish on Fox Sports Florida.
Marlins Baseball, brought to you by Toyota, moving forward, and by AT&T. Here on Fox Sports Florida, welcome to a very quick 3-game series. Game tonight, doubleheader tomorrow, 4 o'clock start. We'll have both games on television for you tomorrow, 3:30 start with Marlins Live. That would be Dusty Baker. And Dusty right now probably penning out an email on Email Twitter Tuesday. So, kids, if you want to get involved, here's the way you do it. You go to foxsportsflorida.com, and then a red arrow appears, and you scroll down. There it is. Go to Game Talk, or see on the left side, Ask the Broadcast. You can go to Game Talk, or you can go to Ask the Broadcast. So, foxsportsflorida.com, go to Game Connect, and there you go. Or if you just want to jump on Twitter, we're okay with that too. At FS Marlins on Twitter. Lots to talk about. First and foremost, Tommy Hutton, the Marlins have got to start playing better baseball, and Jack McKeon held a very emphatic, apparently, closed-door meeting and imparted that message upon his ball club this afternoon.
Well, and I think when you hear a message like that and you're a young player, a lot of what Jack said was absolutely correct. You can't just roll over at this time of year. This is an important time for players, especially young players, to establish themselves and to show what they can do and how they will fit into next year's plans. And certainly, as we look around, guys like Bonifacio are certainly in that mix. And it was a tough series for Bonnie in San Diego, and it was a tough outing for Ricky Nolasco, his last time out in Denver against the Rockies. But you mentioned it before the game, he has always rebounded well after a tough outing.
He'll have to rebound against this lineup, brought to you by Warren Henry, Brandon Phillips, Dave Sapelt in left field, Jay Bruce in right field. Miguel Cairo is hitting cleanup. Joey Votto has the night off. Yonder Alonso comes home. The Miami product is at first base. Drew Stubbs, Ramon Hernandez, Paul Yanish at short, and Johnny Cueto will be hitting ninth. And here is Nolasco, and we'll see if Ricky, as he's always done throughout his career, can bounce back from that last start. He takes aim at Brandon Phillips, and here we go. First pitch fastball, that would be a strike, says Mike Estabrook.
You know, one thing to point out, Ricky wasn't alone on the road trip. The starter's ERA on the road trip was 8.43.
Career start number 7 against the Reds. Ball out to center. On comes Mike Cameron, who makes a nice running catch. And Mike Cameron will be featured prominently when Tommy goes over the defense.
Yeah, there was a time that Mike Cameron patrolled center field in 1999 as a Cincinnati Red, with Peterson and Stanton flanking the Gold Glover. Dobbs and Gaby on the corners. Bonifacio and Infante up the middle. We got the two best fielding second basemen in the National League in this series. The defense brought to you by Warren Henry.
Nolasco delivers a strike with some injury issues. Dave Sapelt has been called up and has been filling in the outfield for the Reds. Sapelt drives it into right field down the line. Stanton is over there quickly, and the youngster's got himself a base hit. They'll bring up Jay Bruce. Scott Rowland on the disabled list. He had arthroscopic shoulder surgery. They expect him back in early September. Edgar Renteria has not been on the disabled list, but hasn't been available with a groin strain. We may see him tomorrow at some point in one of the games of the doubleheader. But here's Bruce, who has slugged 26 homers and driven in 81 runs. Since the Marlins haven't seen the Reds in such a long time, the issues that the Reds have faced, Tommy, a lot of it had to do with their rotation, especially the midway point of the season.
Yeah, and talking to Dusty Baker about it, he had Cueto on the DL. Bronson Arroyo, remember, was suffering with mononucleosis. Things just didn't fall into place early in the year because this was a team that began the season with great expectations.
There is Dusty Baker. Great expectations because they had a great year last year. The Reds last year were 91-71. They won the Central. Won the Central and then were swept in the division series by the Phillies. And we've said it a few times this year. It's amazing, but no team from the Central has won a postseason game since the Cardinals went all the way and won the World Championship in 2006.
Somehow you have a feeling that may change if things hold up for the Milwaukee Brewers. That could change this year.
Yeah, the way the Brewers are playing right now, I think you are right. The Brewers have actually put 13.5 games between themselves and the Reds. Swing and a miss, and a good fastball. As well as the Reds, or excuse me, as well as the Brewers are playing, the Reds are even further behind the wild card, the Braves. But Milwaukee 77-53 now, a 9-game bulge over the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, the Braves have won 5 straight, so they keep a pretty good hold on that wild card lead.
So Pelt back at first. Marlins still have to go to a couple of cities in the Central, Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Velasco from the belt. Fastball driven to center. Cameron goes back. Mike, shy of the track, makes the catch. Nice play by Mike Cameron in center field. All year cooling, 84 degrees. And right now partly cloudy, but of course heavy rain expected on Thursday. Thus Thursday's game has been canceled, or actually moved to tomorrow for a doubleheader. If you have tickets for Thursday's game, it's like a rain out in advance. You can exchange those tickets for any game, including tomorrow's doubleheader. If you want to come out and watch 2 games for the price of 1, you can exchange Thursday's ticket for the doubleheader or any game left on the 2011 schedule.
Really interesting batting order that Dusty Baker's put together. The Marlins in this way are very similar. Veteran, a guy that the Reds have to fill in different infield spots and play sparingly, is hitting cleanup, Miguel Cairo. And of course Greg Dobbs has been hitting cleanup for the Marlins.
And there are some old school managers, and Dusty's kind of an old school guy, that when they replace a guy in the lineup, rather than shift everybody up 1 rung, they'll just put that guy in that spot.
Well, it was a big hole in their lineup when Scott Rowland went on the disabled list.
Breaking ball, fly ball, left field deep. Peterson back at the wall, makes the catch. And Velasco gets through the first inning without giving up a run, which is a good sign for the Fish.
De Florida.
Well, remember the problems the Marlins had in the first inning on the road in San Diego and even in Colorado. Just getting through that first inning unscathed feels pretty good. Here's the Warren Henry lineup. Emilio Bonifacio at short. Brian Peterson's going to hit second with Mike Stanton right behind him. Greg Dobbs is at third base. Omar Infante his 5th. Gabby Sanchez slides down to 6th. Mike Cameron, John Buck, and Nolasco hits 9th.
Had 2 well-hit balls in that first inning, but they stayed in the ballpark. Look at that last 2 starts for Cueto, 2-0. And in his 15 innings, given up just 1 run. He leads the National League with that 1.89 ERA. And he has that nice little Louis Tion flamboyant turn that he worked on in the bullpen not too long ago.
Cueto is 25 now, and right now doing a little landscaping in front of the mound.
The interesting thing, Rich, I was told about his Louis Tion style is that he was just kind of experimenting with it in the bullpen and was making the turn about halfway. He just didn't like the mound. He's trying to get some things doctored. Talking to home plate umpire Mike Estabrook.
There's the trainer for the Reds. Dusty Baker is out there as well.
But the interesting thing about the turn, when he first started doing it, it was maybe halfway. Then he started feeling good with it, and then that back really turned and went all the way pointing to the plate.
Yeah, for the Reds, the problems that they've had in the rotation have been health-wise. You know, Dontrell Willis will not pitch. You see Brian Price is out there as well, their pitching coach.
See Cueto make a little motion like he slipped. Watch the left plant foot. It does kind of slip a little bit.
He threw a strike.
Of course, there was a football game here.
There was, and they had to remove the mound, replace the mound, and the grounds crew, as we've said this many times, has to do more with less than any grounds crew in baseball. They have to have a major league field ready, despite having an NFL team here, despite having a Division I college team here with the University of Miami now. And of course, the Marlins are just tenants here. This is not their building. So this grounds crew does terrific work as they tend to the mound.
Here's one more look. Kind of turns over. It doesn't really slip forward. It kind of turns over on the side, that left foot.
And the last thing Dusty Baker needs is another injured pitcher.
Yeah, that's the last thing he needs. We have a moment. We'll give you the scouting report on Johnny Cueto, the 25-year-old right-hander. He works off the fastball. He has a great changeup, but they say his fastball really has been working for him, and he spotted it well. Some sliders, some curveballs. And the scouting report brought to you by Coventry Healthcare.
You know, the funny thing about Cueto and his teammate Edinson Volquez, both are from the Dominican Republic. Both are about the same size, and both had the same nickname growing up, and that was Little Pedro. Because if you were a pitcher in the Dominican Republic of their age, and they're 25,
and you're right-handed, you're under 6 feet,
and you're under 6 feet, man. Pedro Martinez is the guy, and they've both patterned their delivery. They both have that real good circle changeup. Mario Soto, another guy that has helped teach that pitch.
Great changeup, a great Cincinnati pitcher
in the Reds organization. So those two guys very similar. And Cueto, guy that, as you noted, has been on the disabled list, but he's completed 3 games of his 19 starts.
Well, we continue to wait out the fixing of the mound. We'll check on the Warren Henry defense. Dave Sapelt, Drew Stubbs. Stubbs can cover a lot of ground. Jay Bruce, an all-star season. Cairo and Paul Yanish on the left side. Brandon Phillips with just 4 errors. A couple of gold gloves for him. Yonder Alonso getting the start. And Ramon Hernandez is behind the plate. And normally we would see Joey Votto at first base. Dusty telling us that he had told Votto and Alonso that he was going to give Votto the day off so Alonso would start. This was before he found out there was a doubleheader on Wednesday. He just didn't want to change that, so he kept it that way. He said if he'd have known there was going to be a doubleheader, he would have done that one of the games of the doubleheader.
All right, so mound fixed, Cueto ready, Bonifacio still waiting, and he fouls the pitch back, and it's 0-2. You pointed out, Tommy, it was a struggle for Bonifacio in San Diego. He was 0 for 12 in that series against the Padres. That was a painful series against the Padres. Up the middle, hit hard. There's that Gold Glover at second. Going down to both knees to smother it and make the play.
If you go back just a little bit into the last game in Denver, Bonifacio now 0 for his last 16. But he hit that ball well. Good sign there.
Now, a guy that had a really good road trip stands in. Brian Peterson. Peterson finished his trip 2 for 4 on Sunday. Had 10 hits in 25 at-bats on the road trip, including 4 doubles and 3 triples. So Peterson certainly has earned his playing time, so much so that Jack has him hitting second in the order.
Kept the line moving in that 9th inning in San Diego after the Mike Cameron home run, a Gaby Sanchez single, and Peterson doubled Gaby over to third. There's the changeup.
And it is a nasty one.
If you haven't seen it, it's probably good early on your first at bat to see that changeup right off.
1-2. Didn't want to throw the fastball. Buries the slider. No sway, says Todd Titchener. Though Ramon Hernandez, the veteran catcher, was trying to sell it as best he could.
Yeah, May 1st, the Marlins left Cincinnati. They were 17-9 after that series, taking 2 of 3 from the Reds.
Yeah, there was a lot of what happened to you guys, and then, well, what happened to you guys going on between both ball clubs, because certainly the Marlins had a terrific month of May as well and got to June as the wild card leaders. 2 games back in the East. Petey takes inside, 3-2.
And the Reds were playing good baseball, certainly with the help of Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce had an incredible first couple of months.
Got rolling on the DL. Chris Heisey is out with an injury. 3-2 coming. Of course, nobody has to remind the Marlins of all the injuries they've got, with Hanley Ramirez still on the disabled list. Jack McKeon doesn't have Josh Johnson at his disposal.
Yeah, the Marlins aren't going to give any team any sympathy. That's
Mike Stanton climbs in, and one of the highlights of the road trip was watching Mike Stanton hit. And just about every ball he hit was hard and long. Stanton homering on Sunday. Of course, he had a run of 3 consecutive games with homers on the road trip, including the last game on the homestand, which had him go 4 straight. 4 homers on the trip, a couple doubles on the trip.
Well, just with every base hit, extra base hit, home run, Mike Stanton just continues to find his name linked with a lot of really interesting lists.
Now, when you have a back turn in your windup, that certainly has to change when you go from the stretch. Peterson back on a quick throw.
A little different. Mike Stanton leads all National League hitters in percentage of base hits that go for extra bases.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
51% of his base hits go for extra bases. Here's the other name on that list that's of interest. 4th in the National League in base hits for extra bases, Logan Morrison. Lomo is at 45%, and Lomo is eligible to play tomorrow. The Marlins sent him down to AAA. There is a doubleheader tomorrow. It's a 10-day period before you can call someone back up. And I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow or on the way to Philadelphia there's a Logan Morrison sighting.
It'd be nice to have another bat, a left-hand bat, in a doubleheader. Of course, you're going to have to make sure you have enough pitchers for a doubleheader as well.
Outside, and Stanton draws a walk. That's the other thing that Stanton has done well this year. His walk rate is up, his strikeout rate down from last year. Dave Schoenfeld in his Sweet Spot blog was noting Stanton's progress this year and comparing it to the regress, so to speak, of Jason Hayward in Atlanta, whereas Mike has shown the progress that you want to see in that he's striking out less, he's walking more, and obviously he's second in the National League in home runs.
And the incredible, encouraging sign of all that is that he's just touching the surface. And if he continues to progress the way he has this year, it's going to scare a lot of National League pitchers.
All right, here's Greg Dobbs. And Cueto pumps in a fastball for a strike. And it's 0-1.
You have to wonder if the little bit of fixing out there of the mound has gotten into Cueto's head.
Hernandez, a veteran catcher back there. Dobbs takes in. Here's the other thing. When you do incorporate a turn into your windup, as I pointed out, once you go from the stretch, you lose that. So you almost have two different deliveries.
So then you kind of go back to the way he used to throw,
right,
a little bit more.
Which was still pretty good.
It's still pretty good. He won 12 games last year.
Yeah. Dobbs to first. Alonso an out there, and Dobbs is safe at first. With Cueto covering, Peterson ends up at third. And here comes Omar Infante.
Pretty good changeup. Had Dobbs just a little bit in front. Strong throw by Alonso. Strong throw by Giannis. Wow, that could have gone the other way. So the inning stays alive. Yeah, that could have gone the other way. The inning stays alive for Omar Infante.
Let's see if the Marlins can take advantage of it. Infante in the 5 spot. It's not something we've seen much at all this year. But, of course, when you drop 15 of 17, like the ball club has, your manager tends to tinker with the lineup. And so Infante hitting between Dobbs and Gabby Sanchez. And it's 1-0. Last time Infante was on this field, he was in the process of breaking his finger. On a night where he had 2 hits, broke his finger, and then got his 3rd hit with a broken finger. And then had to come out of the game because of the pain.
Yeah, which put together a stretch of 3 games where he had 3 hits in all 3 games.
Let's see when he gets 2-0. Inside corner with that fastball. Infante had a base hit on Sunday. At the very least, with Peterson over there at third base, Dobbs at first, the Marlins have pushed Cueto to 22 pitches, and that misses in, and it's 3-1.
You still get a feeling of a little uncomfortableness out there from Johnny Cueto.
Yeah, he's retying the shoe.
Generally, one of the things on the scouting report, he's a fast worker, and he's been everything or anything but that in this inning.
He leads the National League in ERA, 1.89. That's minuscule. He leads the National League in batting average against, 201. Marlins don't have a hit, but they do have runners at the corners. And Infante is looking at a 3-1 pitch. Cueto didn't like the fastball selection from Ramon Hernandez. It's been a tough year for Dusty Baker and the Reds. They're 3 under, 62 and 65. Wants to throw the breaking ball, and he drops it in for a strike. He balked at the fastball and decided, hey, let's spin one up there. And so if you're Infante and you got a 3-1 breaking ball, you have no idea what's coming.
You have no idea on a 3-2 pitch. Unlike the Marlins lately, Cueto's only allowed 5 first-inning runs.
That's a bolt into the Reds bullpen, which is a good bullpen, by the way. That's one of the bright spots. The Reds pen, though they were overworked and overtaxed with a lot of the injuries to the rotation, the Reds bullpen still has some pretty good arms down there. 3-2. Breaking ball, ground ball to third. Cairo across the diamond in time, and Cueto takes 24 pitches to get through a scoreless first. Forces Network, watched by the United States military in 175 countries and ships at sea. It is an honor to have you with us, to be in your presence, because of all the things that you do allows us to sit here and watch baseball and bring it to you in high definition tonight. We've got Cincinnati Reds and Florida Marlins, and yonder Alonso, the first pitch he sees, he clobbers out of the ballpark. The former Miami Hurricane has gone deep in his return to Miami, and he can barely contain the smile as he goes around third and heads to the plate. What a moment for this young man.
Wow, what a feeling that has to be for Yonder Alonso, family, friends here. First pitch he sees facing the Marlins in South Florida, he takes deep. For Alonso, his second home run since coming up this year. He had 12 as an International League All-Star down in AAA.
Next pitch is a fastball that is fouled out of play. Now, Alonso was born in Cuba. When he was 10, his family moved and got out and ended up in Coral Gables High School, and then, of course, a star at the University of Miami, taking them into the College World Series. I mean, I know you're not supposed to smile when you hit a home run, but look at this. He can't help it, man. He can't help it.
You know, he's been a guy that in a lot of organizations may have gotten to the big leagues faster.
It's a great point.
But you have an MVP at first base, the position you play, Joey Votto. It's tough to make that movement. It's been tough for Cincinnati.
Drew Stubbs at the plate. 1-2 coming from Nolasco. Not to the same extent, but it's similar to the dilemma the Marlins have faced the last couple of years with Logan Morrison and Gabby Sanchez. Both of their primary positions are first base. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it hit him. And Nolasco comes inside and hits Drew Stubbs on a 2-2 pitch. To commemorate the Marlins' history as the Florida Marlins, you can help select the top memories in the team's 19 seasons. Go to Marlins.com and cast your vote for the top memory. Then be at Marlins closing day on September 28th, where the winning memory will be revealed. Go to Marlins.com and vote today. And with that, Tommy, we threw out the ceremonial first email tonight.
Fire it out there, Rich.
It's from Stacy of Fish Stripes she's in Wellington. Were any of the current Marlins teammates of Dontrelle Willis's? Why, yes.
Guy on the mound for one.
You can start
Ricky.
there. Alfredo Amezaga. Now, Hanley Ramirez is not here. He's rehabbing in Jupiter. Hanley, by the way,
You had some news on Hanley.
did take some
today.
batting practice today, but there's been no other update in terms of his health and his status. Chris Volstad,
Anibal Sanchez.
Josh Johnson. 2007 was the last year for Dontrelle Willis. So
Well, and just so we can throw this out, we'll throw out Jeff Conine.
yeah, there you go. That's right.
Hugs galore when everybody saw the D train this afternoon.
For a lot of reasons. Number one, because of the type of guy that he is.
Happy to see him back in the big leagues.
That's number two. The fact that he's gone through so many struggles and has got himself back in the big leagues and is pitching well. The Reds just have not supported him, both with runs or with the bullpen, when he's been in a spot to win. Ramon Hernandez.
Actually, in one of Dontrelle's games a few starts ago, he went out to hit in the 7th, hit a home run to put them ahead, but the bullpen couldn't hold the lead. So he could still swing the bat, too.
That's typical Dontrelle. Runner goes. Buck's throw. And a stolen base by Drew Stubbs, his 31st of the season.
Well, Stubbs can run, and when a runner gets the kind of jump that Stubbs was able to get, John Buck felt the best chance was just to try to throw him out from his knees. There's the jump. It's a great jump. And so the only hope Buck had was to try to throw him out. He'd have wasted too much time if he gets up and tries to fire.
So a home run by Yonder Alonso on the first pitch he saw as a big leaguer in his hometown. Big lead at second by Stubbs. Hernandez pokes it into right field. Stanton got a good break and makes the catch. Mike Stanton's defense was pretty good last year. In the first month or two this year, not so much. And I suspect that the leg issues he had in spring training had a lot to deal with.
I think so. It didn't give him a chance to work the way he likes to work on his defense. And I agree with you. I thought last year his defense was very good, better than we expected. And then when we saw him earlier this year, there was a little he went backwards in his defense. But lately, the last month or so, it's been terrific.
So here's Paul Janisch. Ricky trying to keep this at just one run, especially when you're facing Johnny Cueto, and Janisch takes outside. Janisch getting the start at shortstop. Edgar Renteria's been out, the former Marlin. Been out with a strained groin. There's a former Marlin who is a current teammate of Dontrelle Willis. Time is called. And the Reds are hopeful that he'll be able to play at least one of the two games tomorrow.
Because of that, Janisch has gotten a lot of playing time. And you know for this series, we're not going to see Dontrelle, but you know his bat will be ready if needed. Never one to be shy in a conversation.
1-0 pitch, ground ball. Dobbs digs it out. Looks the runner back. Throws across the diamond to get it. That's a nice out to get, because now with 2 outs, you can go after Cueto to try to finish the inning.
This will be a good inning for Ricky to work through. If he, after giving up the leadoff home run, and then the hit batter, if he can work through this inning, not allow any more, I think that's something he can build on. And Johnny Cueto just 1 for 37 on the year.
Had a couple of Josh Johnson questions as well. Jorge fired the first, JJ salvo. Right now it's still throwing off flat ground. No progress from there. As JJ has said, and as the Marlins have said, they'd like to try to get him back up on the mound and pitching in a big league game before the season is done, just for everyone's peace of mind.
I think that's a great idea for everybody's sake, to find out what you have going into next year.
Here's a good question. This is from Stephanie. What are the Marlins going to do with the graphics and pictures on the outfield walls? She wants the Craig Counsell one.
That's a great question.
I don't know.
I think Billy has dibs on his big picture for his family room.
Runner going to third. Buck won't even throw on a high fastball. And the Reds have a couple of stolen bases. Stubbs picking up a pair here in the second inning.
I think early on, the Reds and Dusty Baker have shown the Marlins that they're going to run, especially with guys like Stubbs.
Well, I think a lot of teams have seen that against the Marlins, the Padres series in particular. Ricky with a fastball. Cueto, not an accomplished hitter.
No,
fouls it back.
As I mentioned, 1 for 37. And you're right. If you're an advanced scout for the Reds, I'm sure there was one in San Diego, maybe even in Denver. Your report was filled out and said you can run.
Two. Now it's 3-2, and this is obviously not a guy you want to walk.
Ricky doesn't look comfortable yet either out there.
He got him, and Ricky Nolasco is the all-time strikeout leader in Marlins history. He strikes out his 758th hitter, passing the man who's across the diamond in the dugout, Dontrelle Willis. Nice moment for Ricky Nolasco. Did I forget anybody? I think that's it tonight. Oh, yeah. We did talk about Louis Tion, comparing Johnny Cueto's newfound delivery to El Tiante. So the crack staff has been hard at work, and look what they came up with, Tommy.
Yeah, number 23. The Cuban-born right-hander who had a tremendous career, originally came up with Cleveland. A lot of you remember him with Boston, actually pitched for the Yankees as well. 229 games, Louis Tion won. And in 72 with the Red Sox, had an ERA of 1.91.
Gabby Sanchez, Mike Cameron, and John Buck. And Cueto misses inside with a breaking ball. Just Gabby's luck that as he's trying to snap out of this slump, he gets to face Johnny Cueto, who leads the National League in ERA and batting average against. So stay hot. The 1-0. Gabby pulls that one foul. That was a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 1-1.
Now Gabby was able to see his former Hurricane teammate go deep, Yonder Alonso.
He didn't even really have time to say hello when Alonso went by first base. That continues that run of guys from that team that are in the big leagues now. What, Chris Perez, Gabby Sanchez, Ryan Braun, John Jay, Alonso's now. I think I'm forgetting someone, but Frank Fort will probably text me here shortly.
You know, when you throw out the name Ryan Braun, who's going to win that MVP? Ryan Braun or Prince Fielder?
That one popped foul and out of play. Hernandez gave it a go. 1-2 to Gabby Sanchez. Email from Miami, Adele. I'm very angry with Rich and Tommy because I've sent you many emails and you've not responded. Who will the Marlins go after in the offseason?
Well, first of all, Adele, you can no longer say that or be mad at us.
That's true. Here's the 1-2, and it's outside.
You know, we've talked about that, before. We don't know. We're not privy to all that, but you'd love to see the Marlins go after a left-handed starter to begin with.
And that's, I mean, obviously there's two avenues to get there, and that's through trades or by free agency. And I think if the, a lot of it depends on, a lot of the off-season movement depends on, number one, what you need, but what you have to give up to get what you need.
The other thing that happens, too, in off-season deals, let's say right now you might say, well, you don't need this position. But let's say a trade is made and a position player from that position is involved in the trade and goes.
Now all of a sudden.
Now you do need to fill that spot.
Here's the 3-2. It's up. That's a good at-bat by Gabby Sanchez. A slumping hitter. He identified strikes. He identified balls. And now he's at first base. And now he and Alonso can chat, and we will chat with Allison Williams.
Hey, Rich. Hey, Tommy. You know, we can all chat with the fans thanks to this email on Twitter Tuesday, but if you want to go one step further and connect even more to the broadcast and to the game, all you have to do is go to foxsportsflorida.com and log on to the Game Connect. There you get all sorts of great stats. You've got head-to-head matchups, team leaders. They even have a pitch count gauge for both starting pitchers, and there's also a live conversation, so you can chat and tweet with other Marlins fans. I'm tweeting on there today as well throughout the game. It's a great way to interact with fans, with the broadcasters, and really kind of take your involvement in the game connection to the game to another level. And it's all right there on Game Connect on foxsportsflorida.com. And if you are watching at home, or if you're at the game and you're following us on Twitter, tweet at us because I'll head up and say hello. We'll get you some airtime. So it's all about connecting with the fans, and it's a great way with this Twitter Tuesday, guys.
Hey, so Allie, if we tweet to you, you'll come up and say hello to us?
I should do that. That would be different, huh?
I like the fact that you've got the iPad. That's
gotta have it.
Bring your iPad to a ball game.
Absolutely, and then you get all the stats. You get to watch the game, and you could also listen to it on the radio if you have your iPad with the MLB at Bat app.
If you have that app, Allison, too, you can listen to Rich's replays on home run calls.
Yep.
And there's Allison's Twitter account if you want to tweet to Allison.
Yes.
What's the meaning behind the name there?
Well, Sonny, my name is very common. If you haven't noticed, there's a lot of Allison Williams, so pretty much every abbreviation of my name was taken. So my nickname is Sonny to my friends and family because it's Allison. So it's Sonny and my initials. A little complicated, but yeah, now you know a little bit more about me. That's why.
We're all about getting the story straight.
There you go.
That's a ballpark question. Tomorrow night is our big ballpark show with Frankfurt down in the new ballpark. Cameron, a line drive over the head of Giannis into left center. Gaby's going to try to get to third, and he will. Good hustle, good instincts. You said it on the last road trip. Gaby Sanchez may not have the most speed, but he's a very instinctive and very good base runner.
And this is good base running. A nice line drive off the bat of Mike Cameron. Identified by Gaby that it's over the head of the shortstop, where he's off and running. He identified that right away, and then realized that there wasn't going to be a play. If he hesitates at first base, he's not able to go first to third on that.
So Gaby now across the diamond from Cameron. Mike with a single, and this is a big at bat for the Fish, who are trying to draw even at the very least here in the bottom of the second. You've got Nolasco on deck, and John Buck is up. Middle infield's back. Buck, ground ball to third. Gaby comes home. He's caught in a rundown. Let's see if he can stay in it long enough. Nope, he's tagged out. Now the Marlins will have to settle for runners first and second and one out.
There are times I'm a little surprised because you have a veteran there at third and Miguel Cairo. This is double play ball all the way, and it's early in the game, and it would have just tied the score. So I'm a little surprised that Cairo went to the plate when he had a chance to get 2 outs. I think some of that has to do with Johnny Cueto on the mound. But the Reds pulled off the rundown without having to throw it around and chasing him back to third base. So a 5-2 on that fielder's choice.
I think Gaby was probably pretty surprised at that as well, especially since the ball was kind of to the left of Cairo. It was kind of leading him to second.
I'll throw something else into the equation, and this is what's so great about baseball. People ask questions, and sometimes you can't give a definitive answer because a lot of things go into the equation. Another reason he may have done that is because the pitcher's coming up right here. Had, let's say, the 3 or 4 spot been coming up, the next hitter may have gone for 2, gotten the 2 outs, faced a cleanup hitter with nobody on base.
Well, Ricky does his part in setting down a sacrifice bunt, and now Bonifacio with runners at second and third. And this is the gamble that Cairo took, is that Johnny Cueto would be able to get Bonifacio out with 2 outs. That's the gamble. And if he can, then the Reds hold on to the 1-0 lead. If he can't, then the Marlins have a chance to take the lead.
So there's the scenario. I think we played it out pretty well.
The hit by Mike Cameron is the only hit for the Marlins. Cueto has walked 3 already tonight. And he buzzes Bonifacio inside. 1-0.
Bonnie hit the ball pretty well his first time up, a sharp ground ball to second base.
I think part of the answer to that emailer's question about what will the Marlins look for in the offseason, I think Bonifacio figures in that equation because you want to see how does Bonifacio play the last 6 weeks of the year. Is he going to be close to the guy that he was in July, or does he regress back to
a super utility guy?
Right. That pitch is outside, it's 3-0. Because if he is going to be say a 280 hitter with a 350 on base percentage, then he could be an everyday player.
It's a tough call. Interesting, because he does fill a great role as that super utility player. And a guy like Bonifacio, if he were in that role, is still going to get 400 or so at bats.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Even if, as Brian Price comes out, the Reds pitching coach, even if you go into next year and Bonifacio doesn't have a spot to play, as we have seen with every major league team, spots open up, and a guy like Bonifacio can play all 3 outfield positions. He can play 3 different infield positions. Your point is a good one. He could end up with 400 at bats.
Even if spots don't open up. Gets hot here. Won't be as bad, though, next year. Just thinking about it. But even if spots don't open up, you give Lomo a day off one day. You give Hanley a day off one day. Whoever might be playing second. If it's not Bonifacio, you give him a day off one day. And Bonifacio could play 4 or 5 games, could start 4 or 5 games a week.
That's a great point. Now, you've got Cueto against Brian Peterson. He walked Peterson. That was back in the first. And here's Peterson with the bags loaded. And a fastball misses inside, and Cueto certainly doesn't have good control tonight. He's walked 4.
The Marlins on the road trip actually go back even on the 1-10 homestand. Were in search of big base hits, key base hits.
Check swing. Did he go? No. And it's 2-0. Johnny Cueto has thrown 26 balls and only 20 strikes in his 46 pitches, which is a whopping total here in the bottom of the second.
I don't think he's ever been comfortable with the mound after that first pitch, the little slip.
There's a strike, and you were expecting Peterson to take a strike after watching the walks and with a 2-0 count. That was a generous strike. See, it was just at the very bottom of the strike zone. Cameron, Buck, Bonifacio, and strike 2.
Well, he went fastball changeup. The 4 walks is season high for Cueto.
So now Peterson in a tighter spot here at 2-2. Breaking ball, little ground ball out towards short, and the Reds get the out at second. And the gamble pays off by Miguel Cairo. The Marlins don't score, and it's 1-0. On top of the fish. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Florida Marlins. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Ricky Nolasco, because he is the new strikeout king for the Florida Marlins. That was 758, surpassing one Dontrelle Willis. And Ricky gets the top of the order here in the third. Brandon Phillips, Dave Sapelt, and Jay Bruce. There's the list. A.J. Burnett, check. Dontrell Willis, check. Ricky Nolasco atop the list.
You'd like to see Ricky now just get himself in one of those nice grooves after getting that strikeout out of the way.
Phillips lines one into left. He's a guy that you got to keep close to first base.
Been kind of a little change, by the way, Rich, for Dusty Baker, with Brandon Phillips hitting in the leadoff spot. Last 5 games, he's hit leadoff, and he's 12 for 24 as a leadoff hitter.
Well, we've seen Yonder Alonso go deep for the Reds, taking the first pitch he saw from Nolasco and hitting it out to right field. Alonso, the Coral Gables native. Well, he was born in Cuba, but grew up in Coral Gables. Starred at the University of Miami, and we have an email wanting to know, can you give an update on Yasmani Grandal, who was a first-round pick in the draft as a former Miami Hurricane?
And we can. Grandal started the year in Bakersfield in the California League. High A ball.
Phillips is running. It's a hit and run, and it's lined to center, deep center. Cameron runs it down. Phillips retreats.
Grandal was hitting .296, had 10 home runs, 40 RBIs in his 56 games. Has moved up to Double-A. He's responded at Double-A, hitting .288, 4 home runs. So combined, .293, 14 home runs, 63 RBIs. Pretty good numbers out of Miami Springs High School.
Sherry wants to know if we can bring Dontrell up to the booth.
I don't think that could be done during the game.
Yeah, he's in uniform. But we should have him on Marlins Live tomorrow, right? He was not on Marlins Live tonight. So 3:30 tomorrow, Dontrell will be our guest on Marlins Live. Yes, I said 3:30. Doubleheader tomorrow. First game starts at 4. And then the Marlins as a team will be headed up to Philadelphia. And obviously weather around here on Thursday is a big question mark. Tommy will be juggling a variety of items between games for your entertainment.
We'll pull out all the stops.
This is from Maureen. Phillips is at first. And the 1-0 is down low. Her question, why does Mike Stanton wear one long sleeve? By the way, you guys gush so much about his power, it sounds like you both have a big man crush on him. Well, if that's the case, Maureen, then there's about 30 other broadcasters around baseball that have the same. Add about 30 hitting coaches to that list as well.
A lot of gushing going on.
Because now around baseball, Mike Stanton's batting practice has become must-see in person. Other broadcasters will stop, take notice. In fact, on this last road trip, both in San Diego and in Colorado, we had visiting broadcasters come into our booth and say, hey, did you see the ball Stanton hit in BP today?
He hit a couple in Denver. They're still talking about it.
Yeah, the one he hit in Denver was up close to where Piazza hit his record shot. And the ball he hit in San Diego went over the little plaza area behind the Padres bullpen and out of the park.
And I'll gush one more time.
Oh, you just have
the
a man
11th
crush.
Fastest player in the history of the game. The 11th fastest to reach 50 home runs. There.
Phillips is leaning and running on the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And Buck couldn't hold it. He bobbled it. He held the ball to get the strikeout, but he kind of couldn't get a grip. There's the home run leader. Stanton at 30. Albert Pujols now at 31. Ugla and Stanton, former teammates, tied, and Lance Berkman has been passed by that trio. Berkman was in the lead with 29 at one point.
Yeah, Pujols has been on fire. He hit one yesterday or Sunday.
The Reds have stolen 3 bases tonight, And here is Miguel Cairo, who flied to deep center. He's in the cleanup spot. Ricky misses high. The one long sleeve, I'm not sure. We'll have to ask Mike about that. It might be
an Allen Iverson thing.
Well, it also may be a way to keep the sweat off of his throwing hand. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Little chopper, and Dobbs is going to let it go. It's going to stay fair. He had no chance to get Cairo. Some players will wear that sleeve on their arm rather than a wristband that will help absorb and wick moisture away.
So that will give us something to ask Mike about tomorrow.
Some also wear it as a compression sleeve.
You and I have never tried that.
I've tried compression shorts for hamstrings and quads.
Could take that conversation in another direction too.
That one has popped up. I did not see that one coming. It's a bad visual. Yonder Alonso, Tommy.
And by the way, you saw him swing at that first pitch. His 2 home runs this year have been hit on the first pitch.
Yeah, Ricky knows that. The first pitch he threw him in the second. It was a no-doubter. It was into the tunnel over the 385 sign in right field. Breaking ball, ground ball into center field, a base hit. Bonifacio made a dive at it. Alonso has driven in both runs.
You know, it was a little different than the little infield base hit in Denver. Tougher play there, certainly. Ricky trying to knock that ball down. If he knocks it down, got a chance to get it out. But once it got by Ricky, the ball found center field. And remember that little infield base hit in Denver in the first inning? That hurt him.
Now Stubbs hit by a pitch back in the second. Both these starters have high pitch counts. Cueto is at 49, and Ricky is gaining on him at 45. One 0 pitch misses away. So it's 2-0 to the red center fielder, Drew Stubbs. Stubbs, a Texas Longhorn.
Stubbs, for the most part, has been the leadoff hitter for the Reds, but when you don't have a good on-base percentage, he has struck out 166 times this year, just 48 walks.
Last year he struck out 168 times. His on-base percentage was .329 last year. .322 this year. Breaking ball, fouled at the plate.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a game with the number of pitches that both starters have thrown that will be turned over to the bullpens. Occasionally, Ricky has thrown some good breaking balls. It's one of those nights he just hadn't had the consistency with it.
Two.
Good try right there with a fastball in. Just missed off the plate, not by much.
See, pitch 2, which was called the ball, was actually in the strike zone. Count's full. Runners will be on the move. Cairo from second. Alonso from first. Here comes the 3-2. Breaking ball got him. Ricky strikes out Drew Stubbs. But yonder Alonso has had quite a homecoming. A homer and an RBI single. And he has staked the Reds to a 2-0 lead. Out. Several other premium areas are close to capacity. Secure your seats today. Call the New Marlins Ballpark Sales Headquarters, 1-877-411-2012. Or go to marlins.com/newballpark. Tomorrow night, we are going to have Frank Fort in the house. Well, not in this house, in that house. Frank will be down at the new ballpark. That's tomorrow night's game. That's the second end of the doubleheader. And you'll get the latest views from inside and outside the park during our telecast tomorrow night.
We'll have some other special guests.
Any ballpark questions that you have, send them tonight. We'll form a special ballpark folder with the emails that are sent tonight. So we've got Claude Delorme, David Sampson coming on, and I think Larry Beinfest will be on as well tomorrow night. That trio ends our telecast. Swing and a miss as well. In the first game, which is a 4 o'clock start, we will be swapping analysts for an inning. Chris Welch will be coming over from Fox Sports Cincinnati, or Fox Sports Ohio, I guess. 1-2 is down low to Stan.
I'll be visiting with Jim Kelch for an inning.
There you go.
And so we'll just be getting warmed up in the first game. There's Chris.
Look at the bow tie.
Oh, look at the bow tie. He's putting us all to shame.
That's a Ken Rosenthal move.
But we'll just be getting warmed up after the first game. And to have all those guests on the second game.
By the way, Nelly in Plantation says, answer on the sleeve, it's a compression sleeve. It helps with circulation to avoid injury and reduce swelling. He just had surgery on a torn bicep and has been wearing one. They're great. It also could be a fashion statement. By the way, how about some D-Train clips, he said. Here's the 3-2. Stanton pulls the breaking ball foul. Well, that's what we said. It could be the compression sleeve. It could be fashion statement. He could be wearing it to keep sweat off his hand. Whatever works. 3-2 is up. and Mike Stanton has walked again. All right, Nelly, you wanted some Dontrelle Willis? We'll give you some Dontrelle Willis. Little World Series Dontrelle. Back in 03 in relief.
Always helping himself, too, on the mound, at the plate, out of the bullpen if needed. And a good time was had by all.
Greg Dobbs fouls it back. So Johnny Cueto does not have great control tonight. 5 walks. He has yet to strike a hitter out. And his pitch count has rocketed to 57.
But his season high in walks, he's established with 5. His career high, 3 years ago, he walked 8.
It never ceases to amaze me the types of questions we get on an email Tuesday. What's up with the dog collars many Reds and Marlin players and Major League players wear? Do they think they are stylish, or are they some sort of magnet BS? And I don't know if BS is the name of the emailer, or if they think that it's one of those magic magnet things.
Yeah, I would eliminate the BS, and it's more of a magnet kind of soothing thing, keep away injuries.
Although some guys will wear necklaces that are not BS, Tommy,
and
or magnetic,
and might give you injuries.
Oh, 2, and there's the first strikeout for Cueto. I think you'll find that baseball players wear a variety of different necklaces. I've seen guys wear rosary beads. I've seen guys wear those little rope type things. And it may be that they wear them because they can. I mean, think about it. You can't wear them in football. You can't wear them in basketball.
You can also throw in a little superstition sometimes.
Little dribbler, and a quick release by the veteran Cairo gets Infante, and there are 2 outs.
You remember the eccentric right-hander Turk Wendell had that big shark's tooth necklace that he used to wear.
Turk Wendell used to chew black licorice
and then floss his teeth between innings.
And brush and floss between innings.
That might be taking it a little over the top.
Now Gabby Sanchez, and he takes a strike.
Now there's some bling.
See, I don't think you'd be able to wear that as a player. As a player, you can wear it, but not as a player. You see, a 1's down low, and it's 1-1.
That's an interesting labyrinth design that he has too. It takes a while to shave.
Mike stands at second. Johnny Cueto to the plate. And Gabby fouls it off his foot. It is 1-2. We're with you tonight in Game 1 of a 3-game series. And once again, if you've just joined us, because of the impending weather on Thursday, the Marlins and the Reds will play a doubleheader tomorrow. First game starts at 4 o'clock. We're on the air at 3:30. Remember, Marlins Live will have an interview with Dontrelle Willis. 1-2. Gabby fouls it out of play. Jim Clark says from Jupiter, regarding Dontrelle Willis, how's he hitting this year? Always enjoyed watching him as a Marlin.
Well, Dontrelle's hitting a cool 353. 6 for 17 with the aforementioned home run.
He's also got a double and a triple. So double, triple, homer. Cueto not only has been uncomfortable, at times he's been indecisive. He and Ramon Hernandez have not always been on the same page.
And Ramon Hernandez, as you mentioned, a veteran catcher and a guy who has caught all of his complete games this year. So for a battery that is familiar with each other, they don't seem to real familiar with themselves tonight. They're not on the same page a lot. Dontrell, by the way, Rich, career .237 hitter with 9 career home runs.
That one pulled foul. Adrian in Fort Lauderdale. I keep seeing Ozzie Guillen's name mentioned for manager next year. What do you think about that? Would he be on your short list of possibilities? Special note, what male Marlin fan does not have a man crush on Mike Stanton? That's from Adrian in Fort Lauderdale.
Now, would Adrian be male or female?
That's a good question. All we know is Adrian's a fan, and we're thankful of that.
That's all that counts.
It's a pretty good battle here. 7 pitches in, and the count's still 1-2.
See if Gaby's able to build off that first at bat when he drew the walk. And remember, he took some close pitches and had a good at bat. Carrying it over here, he's seen a lot of pitches from Cueto.
Mike Cameron is on deck.
This next pitch for Cueto will be number 70.
This is from George. Nice job with the broadcast all year. Make the games a little more interesting and fun to watch.
We tried, George. We tried.
I heard you mention Lomo's name as if he will be part of the team next year. Do you think that will be the case?
I don't think there's any question.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that.
Lomo will be a part of this team on an everyday basis going into the new ballpark.
Cameron's on deck. Gaby's battling, and he takes that circle change down low, and it's 2-2. And you know, we've talked to enough hitting coaches to know that you oftentimes get the answer that a guy will start coming out of slumps when you see him have at bats like this, where he takes a walk, works deep into counts, keeps fouling pitches off. Because one of the issues that Gaby has had, Tommy, has been identifying strikes.
And he's done a good job at that tonight. By the way, I got a nice tweet from Joe Capozzi, Palm Beach Post, alerting us that Dontrell will be pulling down the number tonight. That's a nice touch.
And he finally ends the at-bat by going after a fastball that sailed outside. So Cueto finishes the third. Nolasco has become the Marlins' all-time strikeout leader. Who is the Reds? You want to go? I may go Jose Rio.
Boy, you go Jose Rio.
Gary Nolan.
We mentioned Mario Soto earlier. Another good one. I like Jose Rio. Good guess.
Jack Billingham.
Wasn't a strikeout guy. Freddie Norman. No.
Ramon Hernandez is up. You and I have had this discussion a few times. Hernandez, it's a high pop-up. Dobbs and Buck. And Buck makes the catch. Obviously, the Big Red Machine was quite a club from the late 60s through the 70s. But everybody focuses on the position players. Nobody looks at, when you say the Big Red Machine, and talks about Nolan or Billingham or any of the guys that were starting pitchers.
Most people don't even remember 3 of the starting pitchers. Of course, they had a nice bullpen. Will McEnany, part of that bullpen, got lefties out. Raleigh Eastwick.
That was before closers.
Yeah, Raleigh Eastwick. Pedro Bourbon.
No, there's a good name.
In that bullpen. What about the... might have to go back a little ways.
That one is pulled foul.
And a lefty by the name of Jim Merritt.
That's before my time.
Yeah.
Was that back on the Kluszewski Reds?
It was back in the Crosley Field days.
Okay. Hey, we got an email from Mike in Boca wanting to know if we've heard of any updates on how Gary Carter is doing. And if so, please pass along that from Mike that he's in their thoughts and prayers, and hope to see him at a ballpark next spring.
Well, that is good to know, and I keep updated with Gary all the time. He tries to stay updated with the telecasts. He's a little tired going through treatments, but doing fine and giving this thing a really good battle, as you would expect Gary Carter to do.
That's good to hear. Jose in Miami. Did you know that Yonder Alonso has a connection to the Marlins? His sister was a mermaid for 2 years, 2009, 2010. We did not know that, and it's not in the media guide. Dobbs picks it up, flips to first.
That's one of the things that ought to be under Yonder's bio.
All right, FoxSportsFlorida.com. Click on Game Connect. See, Ask the Broadcast. You can click there and send your questions that way. So FoxSportsFlorida.com. Click on the Game Connect. Fill out that field and send it our way. Or just tweet us on Twitter, FS Marlins. Allison, by the way, is tweeting live.
And by the way, a chance for Ricky to have a nice 1-2-3 inning. The pitch count's gotten up there, so this is an opportunity to put away Cueto and get back in the dugout.
A 1-2-3 inning? We expected both these guys to work quickly and effectively, and it's a relatively low-scoring game, 2-0, but man, it's taken a while to get here. Cueto has walked 5. Velasco's given up a couple runs on 5 hits. Here's a 1-1. Good breaking ball and a strike. Never beat an email with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
And the pitcher up.
And Nolasco on the mound, who can drop the big hammer like that. Nice work by Ricky. Another strikeout adds to that to better health. Baseball in Miami tonight, 2-0. Reds on top, bottom of the 4th, with tropical storm / Hurricane Irene in the distance. Thursday night's game has been pushed to a doubleheader tomorrow. We'll be with you at 3:30 for Marlins Live. All is calm now, but at the very least, they expect an awful lot of moisture in the area on Thursday. And so the Marlins will be headed up to Philadelphia, where, by the way, Irene is scheduled to arrive over the weekend when the Marlins will be in Philadelphia.
And Rich, checking my new Hurricane app, I'm seeing that the funnel has it off the coast, and you're right, probably some rain, and thankfully that's about it.
Mike Cameron, John Buck, Ricky Nolasco against Johnny Cueto, who has been wild with 5 strikeouts, or excuse me, with 5 walks and 2 strikeouts. Cameron takes a strike. Marlins have just the Mike Cameron base hit. Cameron lined one over the shortstop's head in the 2nd inning. Rick in South Miami, can you please explain about players having to use part of their meal allowance to pay a clubhouse fee, both at home and on the road? What's that all about?
Well, first of all,
1-1 pitch. Cameron bounces it to third. Cairo backs up and throws him out.
First of all, you're paying for the service that is supplied by the clubhouse attendants, checking the uniforms, cleaning the uniforms, straightening the shoes, cleaning the shoes. Then you're paying the clubhouse because of the meals. A lot of players eat a couple of meals, one before the game and after the game. A lot of the nice clubhouses have nice food prepared. The Marlins have their own chef, and a lot of clubhouses do. Bean down in the clubhouse takes care of everybody. And nice meals prepared.
And it's not just here's what's on the menu tonight, boys. It's what would you like. There's usually a variety of things, and clubhouses are well stocked with yogurt, fresh fruit,
a lot of healthy salads,
power bars, energy bars, energy drinks, bubble gum. So
you and I, when we get special permission from Bean in the food room, we'll grab a few things, a few tasties,
and we will leave a tip as well. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball to the left of Cairo, and he fires over to first in time. So a couple of grounders to the left side. Here's Craig Minervini.
Well, thank you, Rich. You guys were talking earlier about the hurricane. It's a very busy day for Jack McKeon, as you also mentioned, at a team meeting where he said he was very direct. As he said, as I always am, because I don't have many team meetings, when I talk to my team, there's a purpose. But he also took a call from his wife, Carol, in North Carolina, and she told him that we had an earthquake today. And Jack said the strangest thing was that Carol said their dog, Yogi, about 2 minutes prior to the earthquake, was running around in circles, howling, making all kinds of noise and fuss. And wouldn't you know it, he said about a minute and a half later, we felt this rumbling and an earthquake. So Yogi was able to give them the news before it happened, I guess. And you guys are storm chasers, I guess, now, because the Marlins take off tomorrow, and the storm's going to be going up the coast.
Tommy and I have
we've
signed a contract with the Weather Channel.
Yes.
They've sent us a couple of mini cams that we're supposed to keep with us.
That's why I have that new Storm Tracker app on my phone.
And if we get some footage of it, we might be able to make a little extra coin. A liner to center. Nolasco hit it on the nose. Cueto goes 1-2-3 in the 4th. To the 5th, 2-0 Reds. Hurricane Yonder Alonso, first pitch he sees in Miami, bang, a home run. And he couldn't stop smiling. Just as Just for Men gives you the edge, Yonder Alonso giving the edge to the Reds. Let's check in with Allison Williams. Allie?
Hey, Rich. I am here with the voice of the Florida Panthers for Fox Sports Florida, Stephen Goldie Goldstein. I was able to pull him away from the food for a bit to chat with us about this upcoming Florida Panthers season. Goldie, hard to believe, just 6 weeks away, October 8th, the opener in New York against the Islanders. How excited are you about this upcoming season?
I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have great coverage on Fox Sports Florida. We'll have 73 games in high definition this year, and on the 8th it'll start against the Islanders, 8 o'clock start. The home opener is the 15th. There's tickets available. If you can't be out there, we'll have an extended pregame show at 6:30 here on Fox Sports Florida. But Allison, with so many new players, so many new faces, Ed Jovanovski coming back and a new coach, I think this team has a great chance for success.
The team really has been retooled in the offseason. What do you think are some of the biggest differences Panthers fans will see from the team this year compared to some of the previous years?
I think attitude and leadership is going to be huge. You've got a lot of players that have won in other places. Dale Talon brought in 3 guys that he won the Cup with in Chicago. Ed Jovanovski had so much back there on the blue line. Mike Santos, the assistant GM, had some familiarity with players from Nashville. And I think having a coach like Kevin Dineen, who was down in the trenches 20 years in the NHL, he's going to be able to relate to the players pretty well.
A lot of energy, excitement around this Panthers team, something we haven't seen in recent years.
No question. The market has responded. Fans are very excited. Going back old school to the red jerseys. They're putting red seats down in the lower bowl. So certainly what the Panthers did July 1st, I think, took a lot of people by surprise. But from ownership right on down to general manager Dale Talon through this entire organization, they are serious and committed to winning now, and it's going to be an exciting season.
The Panthers organization, Seeing Red, if you want to catch up on everything that happened in the offseason, preseason special, September 30th, right?
Yeah, at 6:30, Frank Ford will be hosting. I may make an appearance, and you're going to be doing a lot of the pregame shows, the pregame host this year throughout the season, so we're looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it very much. We hope everybody will join us. This Panthers season should be a good one. Guys, back to you.
All right, Sonny.
Hey, I just thought it was interesting and unique that we went from the Just for Men spot to Goldie.
See, don't start. Don't start. Oh, we look forward to this season. I mean, it sounds like there's going to be some competitive hockey going on off the sawgrass. That's good news. A-Dub, what else is going on in that booth? Are there any other hockey luminaries other than Goldie?
A few hockey types. Billy Lindsay, the analyst for Florida Panthers hockey, is here. John Valek from Fox Sports Florida. Brian Doherty is here. Jackie from the Panthers. Justin Coppertino, the great PR guy for the Panthers, was here as well. But I think the food has run out, so some of them are starting to disperse. I'll try and get some plates made for you guys. I'll bring them over.
All right, you can tell Bill Lindsay I called one of his games when he was a Tri-City American.
Did you really?
Coming up in major junior hockey. Yes, I did.
Very interesting. Good to know. We have a connection here, Billy. You in the booth. Rich Waltz called one of your games with Tri-City. Really, he says.
Yeah.
Billy's been golfing a lot this summer. He's got the tan to prove it. Yeah? Billy's impressed, Rich.
He was a great player then. That was a great league, the Western Hockey League.
In the meantime, Ricky Nolasco's gotten himself on a nice little roll. Remember, he struck out Drew Stubbs to end the 3rd inning. He had a 1-2-3 4th. And he's gotten the first 2 outs, made a nice pitch, a good curveball to Freeze Phillips for the first out.
Now you got Jay Bruce up here. He's 0 for 2.
Talking earlier, Rich, about Bruce in the first part of the year in May. Jay Bruce hit .342 and had 12 home runs in the month of May.
Pop up. Dobbs is over, and it's out of play. Carlos has this question. How do they pick and rotate umpire crews? I've noticed that there was a change in Joe West's crew. Umpire crews will change with, certain umpires will take vacations. Each umpire gets vacation days during the course of the season, so a different umpire will be rotated in.
And you have to remember and realize
That's strike 3. It's down the middle of the plate, and it popped out of Buck's glove.
And we'll get to those umpires next inning.
Because Ricky has retired 7 in a row. I'm going Jose Rijo.
How about Jim Maloney? That's going back a little further.
Wow. Oh, look at you, Hut.
I just thought of Jim Maloney. He was a big strikeout guy, but even before my time.
So you never had to face Jim Maloney, did you?
Never did.
What about, there was an email earlier tonight. Did you ever face Louis Tion?
I did in a spring training game.
And how'd it go?
Now, you're just asking the question. You have no idea on the answer.
No, I don't.
It's a great story.
All right.
I was dating my wife, my future wife. She wasn't all that much of a baseball fan at that time. And I would leave her tickets to the spring training games, and she would get there a little later. I hit a home run off Louis Tion. So I'm all pumped after the game. Meet her after the game. Said, hey, did you see the home run? One of the other wives had told her about it, fortunately. So she said, yeah. But it was off Louis Tion.
Nice.
In Clearwater.
Had you popped the question by then?
No. I think the home run helped her.
Yeah. Built that confidence up, didn't it? Fastball misses up.
Hey, there was a name we didn't throw in that group. Joe Nuxhall.
Not only a great pitcher, but a great broadcaster as well. And a legend around the Reds. And isn't he from Hamilton, Ohio? Weren't we talking about that all up the middle? Weren't we talking about the city of Hamilton, Ohio? I think Joe Nuxhall is from Hamilton, Ohio. Jim Tracy's hometown. I think, was Aaron Cook from Hamilton, Ohio as well? We saw two guys from Hamilton, Ohio on that last road trip. Here I am just leading us down this path of least resistance.
But it's a good path because the Marlins get the leadoff man on. A nice base hit by Bonifacio, which snaps an 0 for 14.
Remember, tonight's telecast is going out on AFN, the American Forces Network. And we have an email from England, Carlos. Can you guys show clips of the dancing grounds crew guy, the manatees, and the mermaids? I'm watching the fish with the American Forces Network. And say hello to Sonny. That ball gets away, and Bonifacio is off to the races. Around second, he's headed for third, and he's going to get there. All he needs is just a little bit of daylight, and he's off and rolling.
He rounds second base so well that it barely looks like he touches the bag. He just gets on top of it. But he picks up this ball right away over his shoulder. Now watch this. He's got a great angle. Never hesitates and makes it to third easy.
Cueto right now is shutting out the Marlins on just 2 hits. But now you've got the infield back, and Peterson takes a fastball in. It's 1-1. Marlins had opportunities in the first. They left a couple on, left them loaded in the second.
And you're right, Rich. Joe Nuxall, born in Hamilton, Ohio.
There you go.
Went to high school. Fortunately, Joe passed away a few years ago in 07. But well chronicled, appeared in 1 game in the major leagues at the age of 15 back in 1944.
That's a pretty good pitch. Peterson strikes out on a 95-mile-an-hour heater that came back and clipped the plate. And now here comes Mike Stanton. You can see our Toyota Fox Tracks. That was right on the corner.
This is what we haven't seen Cueto do much tonight, but when he's on, that's what he can do. He uses that fastball, spots it really well, but he's been all over the place tonight.
This is an interesting matchup. Cueto has been ultra cautious with Stanton. Mike has taken some quality pitches that were not strikes, and he has walked twice. And by quality pitches, good sharp breaking balls that just missed, live fastballs that were just in or out. And here we are again at 2-0 with Stanton at the plate.
Kind of doing the same thing here.
Bonifacio occupies third. The infield that you can see is back. And a throw. Bonifacio's back in there.
Boy, another good fastball. This one caught the inside corner.
No, I think it was inside.
I thought I heard home plate umpire say strike.
I think someone was calling to get back at first. I think the count's 3-0.
3-0. Yep. Just heard Estabrook say 3-0.
I think what we heard was someone yelling back.
Yeah. Sounded like the ump calling strike. Now Estabrook yells over the dugout because there was some question in the dugout.
I'm sorry, Tommy.
Yeah.
I think what you heard was Joe Espada.
Yeah.
And that's what third base coaches do. You're screaming back.
Boy, they have pitched Mike so carefully.
Yeah, so Stanton walks, and up comes Dobbs in a big spot. First and third, 1 out in a 2-0 game. Craig?
Yeah, Johnny Cueto's got some strange splits since he came into the league in 2008. Left-handed hitters have hit at least 24 points lower against this right-hander than right-handed batters. It's not a normal stat. In fact, going through the stats, looking the last 4 years, only Joe Blanton with a 37-point difference. Lefties hitting worse is at the top of that list. Number 2 is Cueto for right-handed pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. I asked the pitching coach, Brian Price, why he thinks that is. He said, you know, and we just saw it, Tommy referenced it, pitching inside. He likes to come inside, pitches to both sides of the plate. And the pitching coach said he has an underrated sinker and that he has that backdoor breaking ball, and all those can really fool left-handed hitters. It's something you don't normally see. It's almost a guarantee against a right-handed pitcher. Lefties hit better. Not the case against Cueto in his career.
And I think you can throw in the changeup, too.
Yeah, he and Edinson Volquez almost throw that identical change. Fastball up. Dobbs looking for a pitch he can drive here. Sam LeCure in the bullpen.
Always a tasty morsel out of the bullpen.
Dobbs pulls that one foul. LeCure looks, he looks the part. He looks like he belongs in the Cardinal bullpen with the mustache going.
Yeah, we had a shot of that Cardinal bullpen. They all had beards.
He actually looks like Mr. Red Legs, the mascot, who has a mustache. The 1-2. Dobbs drives that ball to left center field. That should score Bonifacio. It's caught there by the left fielder. Bonifacio is safe. Boy, that was a heck of a lot closer than you thought it would be. Dave Chappelle cut loose with a great throw. However, the flip side is that Mike Stanton ends up at second base. Bonifacio scored. Dusty Baker is out to argue. Chappelle in full flight uncorks a gorgeous throw, and Bonifacio beat it.
As great of a throw that this is, and as close as it was, and I'm totally surprised with you. I didn't think it'd be that close. When you have a 2-0 lead, and all of a sudden you allow the tying run to get to second base,
it's not such a great throw
then
anymore.
It's not a good throw. And you had Bonifacio, fastest guy on the Marlins, tagging up from third. So, in my opinion, not a good throw. Not a good choice. It was a good throw.
So if you were tweeting that, you would say, IMO.
See, I haven't gotten that far. What's that mean?
In my opinion.
Oh.
Fastball misses in to Infante.
I'm old school. I spell everything out.
Breaking ball. That's a strike. Boy, it's amazing. This is the bottom of the fifth, and here is Johnny Cueto, who leads the National League in ERA, who leads the National League in batting average against, and he's thrown 98 pitches. That's why you saw LeCure up in the bullpen. Infante to left center field. That's going to drop. That's a base hit. Stand around third. Another throw is cut. And there's the importance of that play at the plate. And the fact that Mike Stanton took second when Chappelle went after Bonifacio.
And now it really becomes a poor choice because of just that. Good to see a nice, solid swing from Omar Infante. Chappelle gets over quickly. I mean, he's an aggressive outfielder, there's no question. But the base hit. And remember, a tender toe for Mike Stanton coming off that collision he had with the fence in San Diego.
This time, Chappelle did hit the cutoff man, though, and it keeps Infante at first. And here's Gaby. So after all this, and the opportunities against Cueto, the Marlins finally cash in with 2 runs here in the bottom of the fifth. And a big reason why was the error at first. Did they give the error to Cueto or did they give the error to Alfonso? The ball did.
I'm sure they gave it to Cueto, but it looked catchable.
It did hit a good portion of Yonder Alonso's glove, the ball that Bonifacio went from first to third on. Gaby drives it left center field. That ball's deep. Chappelle back. It is off the wall. Round third, and coming home is Infante. And Gaby Sanchez makes it 3-2.
You can see it coming, Rich. You can see it coming from that first at bat. That he took some pitches and ended up drawing a walk and had a good AB. The Marlins coming through with big 2-out base hits. Cueto goes with the slider. Gaby stays on it. It finds the wall in left center. Our checkers double of the game.
Brian Price, the pitching coach for the Reds, is out to talk to Cueto. The Marlins have jacked up his pitching count and have put 3 runs across here in the bottom of the fifth. There's Mike Cameron, who is 1 for 2.
Yeah, Cueto was the recipient of that error.
Duly noted. Jim in Pembroke Pines wants to know, he has tickets for Thursday's game. Sounds like he's going to use the tickets for Thursday's games for tomorrow's doubleheader, which you can do. If you have,
don't come Thursday.
If you have tickets for Thursday, you can use them for the doubleheader tomorrow, or you can use them for any other game the rest of the year. He wants to know, what time will the gates open tomorrow? 4 o'clock game, that's got to be, what, 1 o'clock gates open?
Maybe not quite that early. I would say closer to 2. Yeah, maybe even 2:30, before, hour and a half before first pitch.
All right. 2:30 would be a safe bet.
To come and see an old-fashioned doubleheader.
Yes. Marlins are going to be a part of 2 of those in the next week. Monday in New York. Cameron breaks his bat and pops it out to Phillips at second, who makes the catch. And the inning is over, but the Marlins put 3 on the board. Some big hits started by that man. Cool moment happened while we were away, but we captured it for you. Here's a look and a listen. Dontrelle Willis tearing down the number, a very loud ovation, big smile, and Dontrelle Willis tearing down 15. Now they get to tear 2 numbers down tomorrow, right? Doubleheader.
That's right.
So D-Train, look at that, and he brought gifts too. Class guy. Now Ricky Nolasco's got himself a lead as he pitches into the 6th inning. Miguel Cairo is 1 for 2. First pitch fastball looked pretty darn good from here, but apparently not so to Mike Estabrook, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, Ricky right now has retired 7 in a row. Has himself in a much better groove than he was earlier in the game.
Two and 0. Now there's a strike right down the middle. Boy, there's both those first 2 pitches were right on the edge. Could have been strikes. Toyota bringing you Fox Tracks. Ground ball, Bonifacio, and it gets between Dobbs and Bonifacio for a base hit.
I think Bonifacio may have gotten just blocked out momentarily by the diving Greg Dobbs. As soon as the ball got by Dobbs, it was almost like Bonifacio didn't quite see it.
They may have clipped the
May
glove.
clipped a little bit too, yeah. May have changed directions. Boy, the Phillies putting it to the Mets again. Beat the Mets 10-0 last night, and they have a 9-0 lead in the 7th inning tonight. And your guy Vance Worley is shutting down the Mets after 6 innings.
He's my guy, huh?
He's your guy.
Yeah, the Mets are about to lose their 5th in a row. Of course, the Marlins trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. Yonder Alonso, a busy night, a home run and an RBI single. University of Miami product. This is outside. Jam Lexus presents leaders of the game. No surprise that the Reds have 145 homers. That the Braves. The fact that the Braves are that high, Tommy, is an indication of a real change in Atlanta. JM Lexus, price made us #1. Click jmlexus.com to find out how. Remember a couple years ago, the Braves were desperately in need of power. Obviously, they addressed some of that with Dan Uggla, but there's other guys there that are hitting home runs. Freddie Freeman's
been a real spark to that lineup, but certainly the steadiness of Brian McCann. And actually, they've been able to put together a nice run with the added speed of Constanza
and Michael Bourne in center field. 1-2. Alonso takes outside. Ever since we threw out our first question of what the Marlins might be looking for next year, we've had a lot of suggestions. For Albert Pujols, here's the 2-2. It's outside. Albert Pujols has been topic A. Topic B is if you can't get Pujols, go after Prince Fielder.
Well, you're going to be in the $250 to $300 million range, I would think, in those two guys.
If you could sign one of the two.
I was thinking the same thing. Go ahead, ask me.
Runner goes. Taken for ball 4. So Cairo is now at second. Alonso is now at first. And here comes Drew Stubbs. Fans, this season you can take advantage of the new Marlins single game suite rentals. Enjoy padded premium seats, flat screen TVs, air conditioning, and access to club level amenities. It's the perfect choice for upscale client or employee entertainment. Call 305-626-SAVE or go to marlins.com/groups today. And apparently Craig Minervini has visited the suite.
Yeah, apparently Goldie found the food line again too.
The shrimp cocktail, I think.
But your question was,
if you, Tommy Hutton, owned a team and had an unlimited bankroll
and needed a first baseman,
say you owned the Yankees or the Red Sox or team,
and they didn't have Teixeira or Adrian Gonzalez,
right? And you could sign one of the two. Which one would you sign?
I think I would sign Prince Fielder.
I think I would too.
Because he's younger, and I honestly think he's got 5 more terrific years that he can have, and I think Albert Pujols is going to have good years, but I don't think they're going to be to the degree of what Prince Fielder can do.
Pujolsian. Dobbs has to pick it up. He's not going to get a very fast runner in Stubbs. So Stubbs bunting, and the Marlins unable to even get him at first. This is such a good bunt.
This is a sacrifice situation. He gives himself up, but because of his speed and because it was such a good bunt, he not only moves the runners over, he gets a base hit. That's just perfect execution.
So the Marlins had a whale of a time coming back and finally getting on the board. They did. They got 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th, but here are the Reds who have loaded the bases. There's nobody out. You've got Ramon Hernandez, a veteran hitter, up there. Middle infield back. Corners are in. And Lasco's first pitch saws him off. It's 0-1.
Been a very, very solid career for Ramon Hernandez. I think a lot of people would be surprised to know he has 160 career home runs.
Velasco busts him in. 1-1. You've got Mike Dunn up now, along with Steve Cishek. One. Breaking ball, ground ball, foul. Jason Hayward just hit a grand slam, and Atlanta leads the Cubs 5-0. Boy, Arizona's happy to get out of the National League East, aren't they?
Boy, the Diamondbacks have lost 6 in a row. They made a deal today with Toronto. They traded Kelly Johnson, and the primary guy they got back was Aaron Hill, second baseman.
Aaron Hill's put up very good numbers in Toronto. That one line foul. Good battle here between Nolasco and Hernandez. Ricky's pitch count is approaching 90. Oakland traded Kevin Kuzminoff to the Rockies.
I think another part of that deal was also another infielder, John McDonald, came to the Diamondbacks along with Aaron Hill for Kelly Johnson.
McDonald, a very good glove. Bags loaded, 1-2 coming. To center, shallow. Cameron makes the catch. Tagging is Cairo. He's not coming, and the throw is way offline. But Cairo didn't want to chance it. You've got Cameron, who does have a strong arm. So Ricky has the first out, and the bases remain loaded. Anytime you got a center fielder like Cameron, who has got all his momentum coming to the plate.
All the momentum coming to the plate. You don't have a fast runner at third. And it's easy to say because the throw's offline. If he goes, he's safe. The other reason, at the time, there was nobody out. I mean, just one out. I think maybe with one out and that catch being the second out, I think maybe you go there.
Ground ball. Dobbs has it out there, and he's got it out there. And Ricky Nolasco pitches out of a bases loaded, nobody out situation.
That's a thing of beauty.
And hangs on to a 3-2 lead. Just like that, 5-3. Sun Life Stadium, Marlins and Reds, first of a 3-game series, doubleheader tomorrow. Cast of thousands here. And a 3-2 Marlins lead in the bottom of the 6th. Johnny Cueto's night is done. First pitch breaking ball. Misses outside to John Buck for Sam LeCure.
It's one of those guys, when you watch his delivery, fastball, slider, a few changeups. Watch how he falls off on that first base side. So if you're Bonifacio, you might think of dropping a bunt up that third base line. I mean, his body is turned completely backward to third base after he finishes this delivery. What a great job by Ricky to get out of that inning. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Here's the 1-1. Buck pulls it foul. Nice job by Greg Dobbs not to panic.
Yeah, and to take that easy out. Okay, get the out at third, throw across the diamond, don't rush things, you get plenty of time. And there he is. Plants his feet, gets something on the throw, and made it look easy.
One-two pitch, little topper down the line, and John Buck legs out an infield hit. How about that? And that sets up nicely for Ricky Nolasco.
And John Buck had an infield hit the other day at San Francisco. Very similar, swinging bunt. Cairo said, okay, I can't get him. Maybe it'll go foul, but once it nestles in that grass, it usually stays there.
You know, just reading about the trade you were talking about, Kelly Johnson for Aaron Hill and John McDonald. Both Hill and Johnson are cold right now, and Hill's numbers are way off from where they were last year. Ricky's bunt is foul, and so it looks like Kevin Towers is hoping for a change of scenery.
Trying to change the scenery, get something going. Mentioned the Diamondbacks they still have a lead, but they're sputtering right now. They've lost 6 straight.
And you know, throwing McDonald in the deal. Stephen Drew is still hurt. Remember, he fractured his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky sets down the bunt. Yeah, it's a nice one. It'll be a sacrifice as Alonso makes the throw. It's an email Twitter Tuesday. FoxSportsFlorida.com. That's where you go first. And then you go down to where it says Game Connect, click on Marlins versus Reds. And then you can go to Ask the Broadcast, which is on the left in the middle. See it on the left. Or just go to the live conversation and you can tweet us a question. Tom in Miami has tweeted, I have an iPad just like Tommy and Alice's. Does this stadium or the new ballpark have Wi-Fi access in the stands? I don't think this stadium does. We will ask our battery of guests tomorrow about the Wi-Fi question. We have Claude Delorme
or David Sampson. They'll know that answer.
Larry Beinfest might know as well.
Yeah.
We'll save a lot of baseball questions for Larry. He's on. All 3 of those guys will be on second game of the doubleheader tomorrow night.
Yeah, I wasn't selling Larry short. He'll know the baseball stuff.
He's very good with technical questions too.
I think Larry himself carries around his iPad.
Bonifacio opened the 5th with a base hit. Went all the way to third on the error. The throwing error by Johnny Cueto. It's in. Marlins got their 3 runs in that 5th inning.
Checking on the Diamondbacks, trying to break that 6-game losing streak. They're in Washington tonight. They have Ian Kennedy on the mound. He's been tremendous, but no score in the 7th inning.
They got to get out of the National League East.
But I think they just put up a 2 spot in the top of the 7th.
Ball in the dirt, almost hit Bonifacio. Arizona is actually 1 game over against the East, 15 and 14.
And you know who homered to give them the 2 runs? Sean Burroughs. That's a great story in itself.
Well, they lose one of their lefty bats with Kelly Johnson leaving, right? So Burroughs' role is a little more prominent. Did you know Arizona is the only team from the West with a winning record against the East? The Padres are an even 500. Everybody else below 500. The Giants are 7 under against the East. 2-2. That's in. And Bonifacio's worked the count to 3-2. An infield single by John Buck, moved up on a sacrifice by Ricky Nolasco. Bonifacio battling against LeCure. Breaking ball, Bonifacio hits it deep to right. It's back. It is gone. Emilio Bonifacio. Que bueno.
Es magnifico.
That's just the 3rd home run this year. That's just the 3rd ball he's ever hit out of a big league ballpark.
And one of the ones he hit out of a big league ballpark, guess where it was? Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati.
That is an enormous 2-run homer. So Bonifacio muscling up.
Look at him muscle up on this breaking ball, too. Hanging breaking ball, belt high. And even Bonifacio has the power. I mean, the Reds think this guy has some kind of power. 2nd home run he's hit against them this year.
That may be his first career Gunther Volkswagen drive of the game. There's a strike. That's usually reserved for power hitters. Brian Peterson is 0 for 2. Email from Frank in Fort Lauderdale. Not our Frank. Is it normal for the home team to wear its mascot name on the front of the jersey and the visiting team to wear the city or state they are from? I noticed that the Marlins, like their home jerseys, even on the road, have Marlins on them. Is there an unwritten rule about that? It's actually common to have the city name or first name on the road, but with the Marlins transitioning from Florida Marlins to Miami Marlins, they made that switch and now wear Marlins on their road jersey.
I would guess, and again, this is a question we can ask some of our guests, that next year you will see on the front of that jersey Miami on the road jerseys.
So on the road grays, you would see Miami. You'd probably still see Marlins on the home whites. Well, that's why we have guests tomorrow. We have guests.
We just can't speculate. I would say, yeah. I would say write that down on the list.
Making the list.
Put that in the folder.
Wi-Fi. We had a question about the grounds crew. Will the grounds crew be the same next year? Peterson, strike 3 called. That's the same pitch that got him against Cueto. That comeback fastball around the inside corner.
Yeah, last 2 ABs for Brian Peterson have been tough. He's taking that call, 3rd strike. Here's that fastball. Starts off the plate, moves back, good movement. And number 5, number 6, right there. Good pitches.
Let's see if Mike Stanton finally gets something to hit tonight. He's walked 3 times.
He's only swung a couple of times.
There's a strike. Hey, crack staff, have we given the gentleman from England who's watching on AFN what he wanted to see? He wanted to see either the mermaids or one of the dancing fat guys, the manatees.
The dancing ground crew guy. Was that in San Diego?
The dancing grounds crew guy was in San Diego.
He had some good moves.
He did. He was pretty good. Unfortunately, Carlos, those right now are contained on the 10-run reel. I don't think we're anywhere close to getting that. Pitch misses outside. Is there anything else crack staff, we can show Carlos in England, who is obviously staying up late to watch this ball game? He did send us an email. He was very polite. And also in his email, he said, "Thank you for showing the fish worldwide." And he was the member of the American Forces Network that wanted to flirt with Allison. He said, "Tell Sonny hello."
Oh, now they're calling her Sonny.
Well. See, he probably sent us that email, and then when he figured out he could tweet with Allison, he's probably not even watching us anymore. Breaking ball, that one just missed. Counts 3-2. Here's a good question. Ross in Tallahassee, Florida State. Why don't the Marlins etch the Marlins logo behind the mound in the dirt like other teams do? Struck him out. Stanton turns around. He doesn't like the call. He and Mike Estabrook agree to disagree. But the power hitter goes deep. Emilio Bonifacio, two-run shot.
Presentado por KFC.
5-2, Cookie and Raul, are you there tonight?
Hey guys, what's up?
What's up, Richie, Tommy?
Hey, good. Hey, Cookie, we've talked about in the course of the game, a couple of pitchers' names have come up. One you and I talked about before the game, Louis Tiant. The other, a hard thrower, I know you had to face him, Jim Maloney.
Well, I played with him in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He threw hard, didn't he?
He threw like 100 miles an hour, no question about it. And boy, did he had a curveball too, and with those two pitches, move. He could do a lot of damage.
Tiant was such a special talent, Cookie. And there are some people that feel he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I feel the same way. He won 229 games, and there's 19 pitchers in the Hall of Fame that has a worse record than Louis Tiant. And he's been a winner. He has led the league in ERAs. He's gone into the World Series. He won games in the World Series. What else do you want to do?
What do you guys think? Do you think he deserves to be in there?
Well, my partner is pulling up the comparables. I do. I mean, I think, and Cookie, you could speak to this as well. He also was a bit of a groundbreaker in that he was a Cuban talent as well that established himself in the big leagues. And that certainly had to mean a lot along with his numbers, right?
Well, absolutely. You know, it's the same thing that Juan Marichal or any other pitcher that came out from Cuba that is in the Hall of Fame. I mean, these Latin players that come out from the islands here to represent, you know, and play in the big leagues against the best of the best, and you win 229 games, I believe that you deserve to be in that Hall of Fame. There's no question about it.
Fred Lewis, who was pinch hitting, strikes out.
Yeah, and I'm going to put things in perspective a little bit. Don Drysdale, who is in the Hall of Fame and had a tremendous career at 25 wins 1 year, a career ERA of 2.95. Don Drysdale with 209.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then, you know, of late too, you remember now we're getting relief pitchers to be in the Hall of Fame. And guys that go out and throw 40 pitches, I mean 50 innings or whatever, I mean 50 games, you know, and they selected to the Hall of Fame. There's a guy that wins 20 games a couple of times, 3 times, wins 229 games, and he can't get into the Hall of Fame. I think absolutely that's wrong.
I believe
that the voters that are going and doing that, and maybe he has to go to the veteran committee right now. I don't know if he passed his time, you know, for the regular voting, but there's a lot of sports writers that maybe never seen him play it, or never seen him pitch. And I think that's very unfair.
Well, he had as many shutouts as Drysdale.
That's right.
Tiant with 49 shutouts. Drysdale had 49.
His first year in the big leagues was 1964. And he was born in 1940. So he didn't get to the big leagues until relatively late back then.
That's exactly right in that time, you know, and it was tougher to get up here in the big leagues at that time either, you know.
I think Cookie hit on something that's pretty important there, because you guys just mentioned it took him a little longer to get up here. Back then, I think it was, what, one game a week on television, and now basically all games are pretty much available, not just on television, but on the internet. So perhaps he has those things working against him, and I think in the future wins won't be as important. We saw that last year with Felix Hernandez, but he seems to be stuck in between when it comes to wins.
I'll tell you what, Ricky Nolasco has been splendid here tonight,
and he can smell this win.
Definitely.
Yes, he has.
Ricky has that ability, doesn't he, Cookie, to smell a win?
Well, no question. He's got all the stuff to be very successful. In the couple innings, just a little bit higher, but then he started to get that curveball and slider working. And he stays down and he throws that fastball. Definitely, he's got all the tools to be a consistent winner.
He has struck out 2 this inning, 8 in the game. Guys, good luck rest of the way.
All right, guys.
Thanks, you too, fellas.
Thank you.
Ricky Nolasco tonight has become the Marlins' all-time strikeout leader. If he wins this game, he'll be just 4 wins behind Dontrelle Willis as the all-time wins leader. Willis won 68 in 162 starts. Nolasco has won 63 in 141 starts. That one just out of the reach of Dobbs. And it's going to be a base hit for Dave Sapelt. Fans, present your Miccosukee Ultimate Reward Players Club card at the stadium box office starting 2 hours prior to any Marlins home game, and get a $10 discount on up to 8 infield box seats. Offer cannot be combined and is subject to availability. Miccosukee Resort and Gaming, get in the game.
The other thing about Ricky, a win tonight will give him 10. That'll make it 5 of 6 years. He's had 10 or more wins. The only year he didn't was 07, and that was an injury-plagued season. He only had 4 starts that entire season.
Jay Bruce now. He has struck out twice and has flied out. Daniel in Bedford, England. Both the NFL and the NBA have brought their respective sports to the United Kingdom. When will Major League Baseball follow suit and play a game or 2 in Europe? Fly ball down the line. It's twisting and turning and foul. And out of play.
Well, there have been some games, Major League games played in Japan.
There have been Major League games played in Mexico.
In Mexico, that's right. I think
Puerto Rico, of course.
I think, and I hope I get to see it in my lifetime, I think there will be games. I don't know if on a regular basis, but I would guess we'll see some games played in Europe, overseas.
I'll tell you the place to go. Let's go to Amsterdam and play some games. Breaking ball, fly ball, right field. That one may end up in Amsterdam. Deep, gone. And just like that, it's a one-run game. Jay Bruce.
Well, Jay Bruce, a first-time All-Star this year. That's home run number 27. Hanging slider looked like he's had 4 consecutive years of 20 or more home runs, quietly putting together a solid career.
That will be the exit for Ricky Nolasco. In the 7th, 2 outs. Here comes Ryan Webb. Here comes a Maroon.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call?
Cast all surrounding the interior and exterior of the Marlins new ballpark. Game 2 of the doubleheader tomorrow. Frank Fort will be down on the ballpark site. He'll give you some great shots of the ballpark at night and in the evening. Next tomorrow night, we'll have special guests, Claude Delorme, David Sampson, Larry Beinfest. All will be ready to answer all of our questions about the new ballpark. Ryan Webb comes into the game.
And you're keeping a nice file on all those questions.
So far, I've got grounds crew, Wi-Fi, name on jersey, and I think in the truck they've got a few others stashed away in the file. Here's the 1-0. Obviously, it's important that Webb come in here and throw strikes. You've got Yonder Alonso up next. He's driven in 2 of the 4 runs with a homer and a single. You just saw Jay Bruce leave the yard against Nolasco. And Webb misses. It is 3-0. Miguel Cairo. He's got a couple of hits. I say go to Amsterdam, Tommy, not because of my affinity for the nightlife in Amsterdam, though I have been there and it is fun. I'm saying that because the Netherlands has starting to produce some major league talent. And so I think of all the European countries over there, baseball may be followed closest in the Netherlands. We used to get a lot of emails when Rick Vandenherk was on the team. That's a strike. Many players from the Dutch Antilles from Curacao. Of course, one Dutchman just went into the Hall of Fame, and Bert Blyleven. Three-two. Ground ball, Bonifacio. And so Webb fell behind 3-0, comes back to get the out and finish the 7th. Of the Reds. There you go. American Forces Network. This shot and that shot are for you. 175 countries aboard ships at seas. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. Let's check in with Allison Williams. A-Dub?
Hey, Rich, we said earlier that part of our promotion for Game Connect on FoxSportsFlorida.com and as part of our email Twitter Tuesday, we would check in with some Twitter followers that tweeted us their seat location. While I'm here with some fans who did just that. Jesus, Jonathan, and Samantha. Jesus is here with his 2 kids enjoying this Marlins game. He tweeted us his location, so here we are. And Jesus, how long have you been a Marlins fan for?
Since '93.
And how did you become such a big Marlins fan?
I've always been a baseball fan, and ever since Major League Baseball came to South Florida, I jumped in and actually went to Game 7 of the 1997 game, best game of my life.
That is awesome. And how many games do you get to nowadays?
I usually come between 30 and 40 a year. If I can catch the game live, I usually catch it at 1 in the morning when I have to work the night shift. So, huge Marlin fan, and have my kids here with me today, even though it's a school night. So,
yeah, they're out a little late. Jonathan, what do you love most about coming to Marlins games?
That every time they make runs or home runs, that I could see them making the crowd go wild.
Yeah, I bet. And Samantha, out late on a school night, but it's worth it, right? How big of a Marlins fan are you?
Well, I've been a big Marlins fan all the way, ever since I was 1. And when I was 1, that was like my first Marlins game. So pretty much since I was 1. So
your whole life?
Yeah, pretty much.
Excellent. And Jesus also following us on Twitter at FS Marlins, and it pays off. And you follow us on Twitter quite a bit, right?
Yeah, I've been following you guys for about 3 years now. Love to follow you guys on Twitter. I love the interaction with you guys because you guys do respond back on Twitter sometimes, so love that about it.
All right, Jesus, thanks so much for chatting with us, and thanks for following us on Twitter. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. Remember, Carlos, who was watching on AFN, has sent us another email. He's serving the Air Force as an air traffic controller. He's originally from Palm Bay, Florida. OMAR INFANTE hits a pop-up. That would be Paul Yanish out there making the catch. He says it's after 2:30 in the morning, but it's worth it to catch every minute of the Marlins on TV. His first ever autograph was from Kurt Abbott. And yes, you caught me. He was on Twitter saying hello to Sonny. when you guys began talking about the dancing grounds crew. And we did show you some mermaids. So there you go. Sonny, there's your... now, if he can call you Sonny, can we call you Sonny?
I think so.
There
Absolutely. We're friends. A-Dubs, Sonny, whatever works for you.
There is A-Dubs' Twitter address
Yes.
if you want to tweet her as well.
I think I'm actually over like 300 followers, which is pretty big for me. So Lomo better watch out with his 60,000. I'm on my way.
I think actually they've confiscated Lomo's phone. So...
Yeah, he was tweeting earlier today, and I've had several people ask me about that tweet, saying that he's on a flight back. So that's certainly raised some excitement around the Twitter community, as he always does.
I'll tell you, one of the biggest tweeters in baseball is that dude BP, Brandon Phillips.
He's in the house.
He's a loquacious guy to begin with. He loves to talk. And
there's a difference, and we'll get back to a little serious nature. Compared to Lomo, some of the stuff, Brandon Phillips is an established Major League Gold Glove winner.
Paul Giannis has been busy this inning. He makes the catch.
7th year as a Major Leaguer. A little difference.
5-4 Fish. Our Toyota trend, the Cincinnati Reds, first in the National League in runs per game, led that category last year as well. But a little disparate on the road. 5.11 at home, 4.27 on the road. Edward Mujica out of the bullpen. He takes over for Ryan Webb, who got the last out of the 7th. Ricky Nolasco the first 6 2/3. And now Nolasco and Jack McKeon are hopeful that the bullpen can bring this one home. Mujica against Yonder Alonso, who hit one yonder in the tunnel over the 385 sign in right field. A home run on the first pitch he saw. The conquering hero returns home from the University of Miami. And Coral Gables.
And certainly with Mujica out there, that's what you want. You want the 8th inning. Have him to get through that. You want Leo Nunez to get ready for the 9th.
We were talking about Alonso and Joey Votto, and some people suggested, hey, just move Joey Votto to left, and that'll give...
We talked about that the other night. Yeah.
That'll give Alonso, you can play him at first. Swing and a miss. Down goes Alonso. It's not that easy, is it, Tommy, just moving a guy out into the outfield?
Especially a guy who's won an MVP as a first baseman. Good pitch, good two-seamer by Edward Mujica. He has that. He's got the split, got an assortment of stuff, and he has excellent control.
See, if Votto were tweeting right now, he might say, hey, move Alonso to left field. Let me stay at first base. Stubbs takes up. Stubbs has power, 15 home runs this year. Hit by a pitch, a bunt single, and a strikeout tonight.
I just got thinking about I get in trouble sometimes when I think too much about the whole Twitter thing, and because you read about it a lot in other sports as well, especially football and basketball. They're not playing every day, and I think sometimes that's why you have to be careful. You got to tone it back a little bit. Ball players, baseball players are playing just about every day and need to focus their attention on their game. You know, basketball in between games, football, you have a whole week. You can throw out all kinds of tweets in the NFL season.
Bonifacio fires to first in time.
Just my 2 cents.
It's worth it. That's why you're here, to bring us your 2 cents worth. We did have it. Speaking of that, we had an email earlier in the night, and I passed right by it. The emailer wanted to know if broadcasters have high salaries like the players. No.
Will not be tweeting that.
No.
More than my 2 cents worth. Let me just say that.
Carlos in Miami chimes in on the Louis Tiant Hall of Fame discussion. Please look up Catfish Hunter's lifetime stats. You'll be amazed at how close they are to Louis Tiant in terms of ERA, wins, strikeouts, and the like.
Oh, there's a lot of great comparisons like that. And don't get us started on the Jim Cott, Tommy John career records.
Mujica misses away, and it's 2-0 to Ramon Hernandez.
One guy you know you're going to see in this game, pitcher spot will come up in the 9th inning, is that guy Joey Votto. Right now he's looking for that ticket to the Leo coaster.
Is it an e-coupon or is it? Those are the old days of Disney.
That's the old days. See, if you say that, you have to be an old timer to remember those.
Before the speed pass. See, we told you. There's Joey. Hi, Joey.
And he could be called on if Hernandez gets on here to hit for Giannis before the pitcher spot.
Votto, a proud Canadian, and the MVP last year. Mujica strikes out Ramon Hernandez. Well, that's a nice 1-2-3 inning out of your setup man, Edward Mujica. 5-4 Fish, bottom 8. Around this time tomorrow night, we expect, with a doubleheader scheduled tomorrow now. No game on Thursday because of the impending rain. So get your cowboy hats together and show up here tomorrow at 4 o'clock. You get to see 2 baseball games. Marlins and Reds. A double dip. The pitching matchups for tomorrow. Javi Vasquez and Homer Bailey in the first. Chris Volstad, Bronson Arroyo. Arroyo, a Florida guy. There is Cameron. Nick Massett continues on. Cameron, Buck, and the pitcher spot.
Kidded Mike Cameron before the game. I said, man, every team the Marlins play are former teams. And the Mets, Padres. Cameron, 1 year as a Red, 1999. Hit .256, had 21 home runs and 66 RBIs.
Here's a good tweet from Drew. Rich and Tommy, the Marlins are 51-31 with Hanley and a dismal 6-29 without. Any explanations?
I think the main thing, and that's with Hanley not having a good year, the main thing is what he presents to the opposing pitcher and the lineup, what he does for the Marlins lineup, and how pitchers may pitch around him or may go after him. It makes a world of difference with him in the lineup, even with a subpar Hanley year. I think you'd see Mike Stanton maybe getting more pitches.
Mike Cameron not happy that Mike Estabrook said he swung at that pitch. You can follow the Marlins with the MLB.com at Bat 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826, 31826, or visit Marlins.com.
Got another tweet, Rich, from James. Got to mark it down on your list. Name of the new ballpark. Where are the Marlins in that quest?
John Buck dumps one into center field. So Buck has a couple of hits. Pitcher spot is due up. And it looks like Jose Lopez. We have a tweeter whose handle is Lomo Dimples. And they're pointing out to you, Tommy Hutton, that you don't need a ticket to the Leo coaster. The Marlins force you on, strap you in, and you hang on for the ride. We've got a variety of tweets, mostly from men who say, hey, Allison, if you want to interview me, I'm in section this and seat this. Crystal wants to know, when does the Ameziga cam come back?
I like the tweet from Drew about the record with and without Hanley. I think Drew's trying to become a part-time member of the crack staff with that information.
Lopez had a very good road trip, both in Colorado and in San Diego. And a balk. I think every umpire yelled it. So if Massett has a beef, he's got to argue with every umpire.
Let's see if he turns.
Hernandez out to chat with Massett. Listen. Even John Buck called it. And then all four umpires called it.
There were 5 guys out there calling it.
Lopez swings and misses. Jose Lopez found himself hitting cleanup on Sunday. He had such a good road trip. also speaks to how bereft of offense the Marlins were on that trip. And Lopez, who at times was hitting in the 8 spot, moved himself up pretty quickly. Explain this one, Tommy. Balk leaders. The Reds have 11 balks.
Some things are just unexplainable. I mean, if you had a slew of left-handers that had balk moves, you might look that way, but that's not the case.
Ken wants to know, did anyone from the Marlins end up keeping the praying mantis? It had him wondering since the moth flew in the ear of Matt Holliday. Did you see that last night? Lopez rips it into left field. Buck got a late start. He'll stop at third. There's a nice pinch hit, and Lopez continues to swing the bat well.
And I think just his increased playing time on the road gives him a comfort feeling at the plate. He's locked in a little bit better. And a line drive. He hit that ball so hard it wouldn't have mattered. John Buck had to pause to make sure it got over the infielder's head. It wouldn't have mattered because he hit it so sharply. Buck wouldn't have scored anyway.
Here's Bonifacio. And of course, Emilio popped one over the wall in right. A breaking ball that was hung up there by Sam LeCure. Check swing, little tapper down the third baseline, and it's foul. See, everyone's jumping on the Allison come visit me if I tweet bandwagon. Alan says, Allison, I'm watching the game on my couch in Jupiter. Can you come interview me here? Lee says, I'm watching in Orlando. Not exotic enough?
Not exotic enough? I don't know about that.
Yeah, Fiji would be better.
Yeah.
We have a South Korea tweet.
There we go. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, we're on AFN tonight, so.
Very nice.
We've had England chime in, now South Korea.
Hey, I like it. We're going international here.
I'm still bucking for the Amsterdam trip. Here's the 0-1.
I'm with you on that.
And it's high. I think one of the issues, Tommy, going to Europe would be a stadium that is you can convert to baseball.
That would have lighting that certainly would be approved by MLB.
Infield's in, runners at the corners. Here's the 1-1. Because the baseball facilities that have, when baseball was an Olympic sport, I've been by the baseball stadium in Barcelona, and it's a single A ballpark at best.
And that's why teams were able to play in Japan, because of the baseball over there and the beautiful ballparks.
Chris Spire, a longtime big leaguer, really good shortstop.
Australia would be great, but it's a long way away.
3-1 to Bonifacio. Bonnie in the air. Buck is tagging. This could get interesting. Stubbs makes the catch. Here comes Buck. Here comes the throw. It's up the line, and he scores. Gotta like that. Joe Espada said, you know what? Let's take a chance. And John Buck makes it pay off. And Emilio Bonifacio has driven in half of the Marlins' runs tonight.
Well, you knew this was going to be an interesting play because the ball's not hit that deeply. Stubbs has a pretty good arm, and John Buck's the runner below average speed. Aggressive by Joe Espada. The throw is offline, and that's why you take that chance. You still have to make a good throw. Buck puts his head down. He's able to score, and that's a big run. That's an important run. And you can see how Bonifacio felt about the importance of that run.
Dusty Baker going to make a pitching change.
You need a car, truck or van. We got a car.
John Buck scoring on an Emilio Bonifacio sacrifice fly, and the flame-throwing Cuban lefty Aroldis Chapman rolls in. Look at the opponent's average, 142.
Yeah, then you look at the strikeouts, 58, but also 30 walks. So not always sure where it's going, but when it gets there fast.
Jose Lopez at second. So if you're Brian Peterson, it's a lefty on lefty matchup, and the guy throws heat, but he has a tendency to get wild. So this can't be a comfortable at bat.
Then he paints 98.
Ball and a strike. 99. Well, if he gets, if Peterson can just get on base, then the real fun would begin. And you got Mike Stanton against Aroldis Chapman. Dusty Baker is hoping that Chapman can get Peterson. 2-2. That one touches 100.
And it's 100 with so much ease. The fluid delivery that Chapman has.
And he got him. 99 miles an hour. He strikes out Peterson. We'll have to wait for that Aroldis Chapman Mike Stanton matchup. Strap yourself in. 6-4. Marlins. Lead. Leo Nunez trying to nail it down for Ricky Nolasco. It would be win number 10 for Nolasco this year, number 64 on the season, and Nunez misses down low. Paul Janisch, Joey Votto, and Brandon Phillips. Here's a look at Votto. One misses away. And the 2-1 catches the inside corner. Toyota brings you Fox Tracks tonight, and it's there. In fact, of the 4 pitches he's thrown, that first one, very bottom, sawed him off. Nunez picks it up and flips on over to first. And here comes Joey Votto.
And that's just the way you want to see Joey Votto coming up with nobody on base.
Well, we have a second, Tommy. We lost a member of the crack staff, a big Marlins fan, a longtime baseball fan. Michael Bickler, who was from Coral Springs, passed away this weekend. A good friend of mine and a good friend of the show. Always sent texts in, followed the games, and he will be missed. He's missed already. Grew up a Yankee fan, moved to Florida, became a Marlins fan. Votto takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Nunez says if Aroldis Chapman can hit 100, I can give it my best shot. 97 from Nunez.
For his size, Leo Nunez can get it up there 97, 98 with consistency.
Well, the nice thing is that he's facing Votto with nobody on base.
Absolutely. Thus the importance in getting Giannis out.
.22 homers, 80 driven in, 29 doubles. Votto's on base percentage is a lofty .436. And he nearly tore himself in two with that swing.
Well, he's come right back with another solid season after his MVP season last year.
Tomorrow we start at 3:30. We'll have Dontrell Willis on Marlins Live. Ball game at 4.
And that first game will be Javi Vasquez against Homer Bailey.
Three and two. Marlins have dropped 5 in a row, 15-17, but a chance here to snap the skid, capture the first game of the series, go into the doubleheader tomorrow. Votto putting up a good fight, though. I like the fact that now on Twitter we have fans suggesting whom to interview after the game. Fans want to hear from Bonifacio. Allison asked the fans, and they've gone with Bonifacio. Outside, Votto draws a walk. So the coaster takes a turn. Fox Track shows us pitch number 9 was well outside.
One of the reasons Joey Votto has walked 93 times, and as you mentioned, has that on-base percentage near .440.
Now Brandon Phillips is a guy that can knock it out of the park. He's hit a dozen this year. Votto's at first. 0-1. Leo ready. Here's the 0-1. Nothing wrong with his velocity. Right now it's command. Nunez is one of those closers, Tommy, that doesn't depend on command. He's a thrower.
His is dependent upon stuff. But you still, even if you don't have the command, pinpoint control, you still have to throw that stuff in the strike zone.
Of course, this past weekend in San Diego, we saw the guy that had the ultimate command in Trevor Hoffman, the all-time saves leader. In the air down the line, it's a long run. Stanton was shaded to right center, and he won't get there. Gave it his best run. But Mike was over towards the gap.
Yeah, he's looking, but you're right. Too far for Mike to go to catch up to that one. That's a great shot. Never gave up on it.
Now the 2-2 coming to Phillips. It's out. Well, you've got the rookie Dave Sapelt on deck. Then you get into Jay Bruce, who's already hit a 2-run homer. Reds have fired their best pinch-hitting weapon in Votto, and he's at first. In a 2-run game in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, the guy that scares you right now is Jay Bruce. With his home run power, hit his 27th home run in the 7th inning.
Coming. Liner in his center field. That's a base hit. Cameron approaches it. Votto stops at second. Leo Nunez has thrown 21 pitches. Only 12 of them strikes.
And of the 21 pitches, he's only gotten 1 out. Goes with a fastball, 3-2. And Phillips, having seen a number of fastballs. Solid swing for the base hit into center.
Randy St. Clair is on his way out. And so Nunez going after Sapelt. Sapelt is 24 and grew up in Graham, North Carolina. There's the splits for Nunez.
He's got a little speed. We've watched him run tonight, so it'll be difficult to double up.
Played his college ball at Coastal Carolina University. He has not hit a home run in the big leagues. At the knees. In fact, in 47 at bats, Sapelt has just 1 extra base hit, and that's a double.
He was hitting over 300 in AAA. And outfielder Chris Heisey. And when Heisey went on the disabled list, Sapelt got his opportunity.
One and two. Sapelt is 2 for 4 tonight. Jay Bruce looms large on deck. Votto at second, Phillips at first. That's a liner down the left field line. It's going to get to the wall. Round third is Votto. He will score. They're going to send Phillips, and it's dropped by Bonifacio. And the game is tied. Goodness.
I'll be quite honest, that's an awful pitch selection to a guy who is new to the big leagues. You give him a pitch he can pull, an 86-mile-an-hour changeup. Blow the fastball by Sapelt and then go after Jay Bruce. This was an opportunity lost too, because if Bonifacio catches that, he has a chance to get the runner. There's a changeup right up in the wheelhouse.
And so the Marlins blow the lead. Sapelt doubles. And for a team that has lost 15 of 17 and 5 in a row, this is incredibly painful to watch. Well, Steve Cishek in the bullpen.
Here's another thing. If you're looking ahead to 2012, start throwing Steve Cishek in there to close out games. If you're going to figure out who's going to be your closer in 2012, if it's not going to be Leo Nunez, then start figuring it out right now. That's a shame. Ricky Nolasco had his 10th win right there in his pocket.
Nunez, remember, got the first man of the inning. He walked Votto, gave up the single to Brandon Phillips, hung a changeup to Sapelt. And now you've got Cairo with runners first and second. There's still only one out. See, there's the fastball that you were hoping for against Sapelt.
You've got a guy who has never hit a home run. You give him a pitch he can pull, a changeup, and you can throw 97 miles an hour. Doesn't make sense to me.
One one. Cairo went after it. It's 1-2.
And whatever happened to the slider that early on in the year was a good pitch, a good third pitch for Leo Nunez.
One-two almost hit him. Cairo says, or at least asked Mike Estabrook, it's a ball, it's 2-2. So the coaster has come off the tracks. 2-2 coming. Now he strikes out Cairo with
a fastball.
So Cairo strikes out. Here's Alonso. Nunez has thrown a whopping 35 pitches here in the ninth. Changeup misses low. It's 2-0. Cishek's ready. Jack McKeon lining up the lineup cards. A liner to center. Cameron can't get it. And the Reds are going to take the lead. Runner coming home. It's Bruce. He is safe. Yonder Alonso. Have a night. The Miami kid comes back. He has driven in 4.
Boy, what a nice swing there, staying inside the ball, little elevation on the line drive. I thought Cameron was going to get there, but the ball really sunk in a hurry. Alonso will probably get a double on that, driving in the 2 runs. Aggressive base coaching by Mark Berry at third base, sending Jay Bruce to the plate as well.
So Leo Nunez's night is done. Steve Cishek comes on. 8-6. Reds.
When you need a car, truck, or van, who you gonna call? Marooney!
Four lead to protect, and he exits with Yonder Alonso standing at second, having driven in half of the Reds' 8 runs tonight. And Steve Cishek comes in to face Drew Stubbs. There are 2 outs. And the Marlins now down by 2. Drew Stubbs, a 1-for-3 night. Stanton, Dobbs, Infante when the Marlins get to the bottom of the 9th.
Unfortunately, this is remnants of the 1-6 road trip, the 1-9 homestand. More of the same.
Francisco Cordero in the Reds pen. One and 2. Well, for the Marlins, a lot of things are going wrong right now. They got a terrific start from Ricky Nolasco tonight. He struck out 8. That one almost hit Drew Stubbs. On the road trip, the Marlins had a very rough time hitting with runners in scoring position.
Tonight they were able to get some clutch base hits. Infante, Gabby Sanchez, big double. Bonifacio home run, a sac fly.
Ground ball short. Bonifacio around it, and he is safe. Beat it. He has great speed, Drew Stubbs does. And that's the second time he has shown that speed tonight. The bunt single back in the 6th and an infield hit here.
Well, he has a bunt single, an infield hit, and 2 stolen bases in this game tonight. Little bit of hesitation. I don't know if Bonifacio quite had a good grip on the ball, and that's all it took. Once you do that with a guy that runs as well as Drew Stubbs, there it is right here. Got a lot on the throw, just not enough.
Now you got Ramon Hernandez. On top of the 9th, it feels like it's lasted 45 minutes. Ninth man to hit. Buck on his way out to the mound.
Got a good job out of the bullpen. Ryan Webb came in, got an out. Mujica pitched a 1-2-3 8th inning.
Peter emails. The Marlins had a June swoon. What should they call this? The August agony. The late summer bummer.
I'm in for the August agony. Marlins don't win this game, they'll go to 4-16 in the month of August.
They'll go to 14 games under 500. Chopper to third. Dobbs to second in time. Inning over from 6-4 to 8-6. And now the Marlins need 2 to keep playing. Call 1-877 Marooney, and by Checkers, little place, big taste. Those 4 runs just hanging up there in the top of the 9th. The Marlins go to work on Francisco Cordero, one of the more accomplished closers in the National League.
He has, though, blown 5 saves. You look at the numbers, though, good numbers. Good strikeouts to walks to 1 up by the opposing batters, 189 against Cordero.
Remember, this was a Johnny Cueto start, and he lasted just 5 innings. Well over 100 pitches. And the Marlins touched him up for the 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th. Mike Stanton, 3 walks and a strikeout. Strike 1.
Cordero, good fastball, good slider. He'll throw some splits. There's Joey Votto, stays in the game at first base.
Stanton fouls it back, and it's 1-2. You can see Hernandez shuffling behind the plate, trying to decoy Stanton on location.
Yeah, sometimes that's a good little decoy, because as a hitter you might not be able to see, but you'll hear the catcher moving.
There's the slider, a chopper to third. Cairo, low throw. Votto digs it out. Along with being an MVP, Joey Votto's a very good first baseman. Here comes Dobbs. Dobbs tonight has a sacrifice fly. And a night when the Marlins got a 2-run homer from Emilio Bonifacio. Heck, a sacrifice fly from Emilio Bonifacio.
Bonifacio tied his career high, 3 RBIs.
Remember, it was a 5-2 lead. Dobbs flips a fly ball out to left. It's caught there by Sapelt. Marlins had a 5-2 lead in the 7th when Jay Bruce homered off Ricky Nolasco. That was it for Nolasco. Brian Webb, Edward Mojica delivered it to the 9th. And the Reds scored 4 times off of Leo Nunez. Infante just trying to get Gabby Sanchez to the plate.
Give yourself a shot. Give yourself that chance to get the tying run to the plate.
Infante swings and misses, and the Reds win this ball game. Another painful night for the Fish, who had a 6-4 lead going to the 9th. Jack McKeon, who got into his team at a closed-door meeting before the ball game, can't be happy as he heads to the clubhouse. Francisco Cordero saves it, his 27th. Aroldis Chapman gets the win. Leo Nunez absorbs the loss. Marlins Live next.